Hello, my name is Kafui Dey. By the end of this conversation, you will know a little bit more about the roots of popular music that was created in Ghana and continues to thrive. My guest is a filmmaker and a musician and many, many things, among which is Sophisticated Savage. He will give us details on that in a short while. If you haven't yet subscribed, this is a great time to do that right now and hit the bell so that when the content comes, you will know about it. Welcome to the show. My guest is Panjji Anoff. Panji, how you doing?
Charlie, I did for you.
Raskaf. Yes, I. Let's throw it back.
Me, I still call him Raskaf.
Yes, Raskaf. The music things, man.
Yeah, which goes back to your music days, which goes back to the 90s, right?
Exactly. And you did a lot there.
Yeah.
But let's go even way back into 60s, 70s. I mean, what's your earliest memory, Panji?
My earliest profound music memories are two. I don't know which came first, but those two came at approximately the same time. So one of them was watching Wulome at the old Goethe Institute, where my mother was a German teacher, and they used to have music, in the same way that the Alliance does today. So the Goethe Institute used to have music, and Wulome came to perform, and because my mother was a teacher there, I got to go and hide kind of behind where the musicians were.
Okay.
So I was watching the show from the back.
It was backstage.
Well, there was no stage.
Yes.
They were just set up like on the lawn in the grass.
And
they
you were
were
behind
playing,
them.
and I was behind them.
What did the music sound like behind them?
Well, it sounds pretty similar, but you hear the voices less. But when you are behind, then suddenly I understood that the singers were actually communicating with the drummers, and the way Na Manua at that time and the others, the way they would shake would determine what the rhythm, how the rhythm changed.
Yes. You shake their rear and then the rhythm changes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So there was and I always assumed...
Of course, you wouldn't see that if you were facing them.
Yes. And I always assumed that the movement followed the drumming. But I realized in the case of at least Wulome, and since then I've seen it many times, that if you see Kete drummers, when a really great dancer comes to dance, you notice that the spirit of the music is raised by the dancer, because the dancer is inspiring what they are playing. Yes. Right. So it's a let's say it's a simultaneous communication.
Okay.
Because I can't watch what you do before I play it.
No.
So we've got to, when that moment happens, the drummer and the musician are, one might give the other one an idea to what direction to go into.
But they're in sync.
Yes, but at some point they are in sync.
And how old were you back then?
Oh, I would have been somewhere between 6 and 8.
Okay. And for those who don't know the kind of music Wulome played and still plays, describe it.
Well, as Ni Tete rightly pointed out a while ago, he said it is Ghana high life.
Okay. And
Ghana high life is unique to Ghana. There's palm wine music in Nigeria and Sierra Leone. There's high life in Cameroon and Senegal, but he said Ghana high life.
What instruments dominate in Ghana high life?
Well, Ghana high life really is built around, I guess, the sub-bass of the gome, the kpanlogo drums, you've got the bells, you've got the shakers, and then you often had just one single melodic instrument, an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar.
Okay. So the gome is the drum that you sit on and then use your heels.
You play with the heels,
tones.
with very, very deep tones.
Okay.
So, and in the Wulome recordings, some of them, the gome really stood out. So, and that was, I suspect, more bass than had ever existed in our recordings.
Okay.
Right?
So 6, you were listening to this. You said you had another memory.
My other
musical memory
is of going to Apollo Theater with my German grandmother, who had fallen in love with Fela's music. So my German grandmother loved I was going to say I'll tell you her name in a second.
So your grandmother, your mother's mother?
My mother's mother,
Okay.
yes. So she loved quite a few, let's say, American soul or spiritual singers or Caribbean music, like Harry Belafonte was popular in the 50s. So this is long before even I was born. But she also loved Tchaikovsky and Beethoven.
So classical music.
The classical music, yes. But she said when she listened to Fela, and this is the early 70s, she heard the rhythm and the, like what she called the dancing, right? So it was obvious to her that music here from West Africa is the most danceable music she's ever heard. But in Fela, she also heard some kind of orchestration, especially in the conversations, not only between the horns and the bass line or the guitars, but even between the drums, right? So Fela's music had a lot of orchestration, which appealed to my grandmother.
Okay. So you went to listen to...
So my grandmother took us, when they said Apollo Theater, my grandmother, being Johnny just come from Germany, thought we were going to some grand theater. So she wore some silk dress and...
Formal attire.
Very formal, strict attire. She thought she was going to a theater. So when we reached Apollo Theater, which was this open air place just opposite where Busy Internet is. So I mean, it was a nice venue, but in those days, many of the venues were just open air with a washing terrazzo floor. So when she was a little bit shocked, but the music. And I remember that day she sat on chewing gum and it got stuck in her silk dress. And we had to put it in the freezer to get
it solid and then take it off.
So
was it a live performance or?
Yeah, this was a live performance.
So who was playing?
It's Fela.
Fela himself was playing?
Yes.
So you were how old when you listened to Fela?
I think this must be 73 or 74, because by 1976, or 77, my grandmother passed. I think 1974 was the last time my grandmother came to Ghana.
Okay.
After that, her illness, she had diabetes, and so she was unable to come back. So it was either 73 or 74.
And you were like a primary
But it was the
kid.
time. It was the time that Fela was very welcome and popular in Ghana, because Achampong was in power, and Achampong was a big fan of Fela. At this time, Zombie hadn't come out yet.
The one against the soldiers.
But even after Zombie came out, Achampong and Fela were still
good friends.
Yes, Achampong never gets credit for the very, very sophisticated leader that he was, because Achampong understood things in the 70s that almost nobody, perhaps with the exception of Mahama now, understood about Ghana, which is that we must develop ourselves, right? And Achampong's development was really, really profound, right? And to imagine Achampong did it at a time when he said, it was the oil crisis. The oil crisis affected every country negatively, except the countries that were producing oil. So I remember that at some point in the 70s, Nigeria bailed out the Bank of England. The Bank of England had a cash crisis, and Nigeria had so much money that Nigeria dashed England this money. They didn't give them a loan with conditions. They didn't say you have to do this. They didn't say it was a dash.
A grant.
Even grants come with terms and conditions.
It's just a dash. Take the money.
Dash. It's like you guys are in trouble.
Don't die. Take this
don't
one.
die. Yes, take this one. So, look it up. This is historical truth that Nigeria had to come to Britain's financial aid in the 70s. So during the oil crisis, Achampong was in power. And I think what Achampong managed to do, make Ghana self-sufficient in food, right? Develop the Ghanaian banking system by leaps and bounds, because the government was more or less guaranteeing the loans which were given to cooperatives. And as we know from history, cooperatives always pay their loans. Individuals may not, but cooperatives do, right? So if the government is backing loans which are going to develop farming or fishing, you know what I mean, or aquaculture, and it is cooperatives. Okay, also there's one group of people who always pay their loans in Ghana, women. That is why so many microfinance companies specifically target women.
Because they know they get their money back.
They get their money back, yes. Yes.
So Achampong, according to you, deserves more credit than we give him.
Me, after Achampong, after Nkrumah, Achampong is far and away my favorite leader. You know, Rawlings had good intentions, but I think he was beaten by his own desire to be accepted by, you know, the rest of the world. If you're an African leader and you prioritize the approval rating of the international community over the priorities of your people, you are going to make many, many foolish decisions. And I think Rawlings' government did make many, especially economic ones, you know, educational ones. You know, they destroyed many institutions and they got rid of many things without understanding how important they are to the evolution of a culture. One of them is music education. You know, this is something I'm very passionate about. So when the Rawlings government came, they said, oh, music education is a bourgeoisie pursuit. You know, our children should learn other things. And of course, our children should learn farming, they should learn animal husbandry, they should learn the things that will enable them to feed themselves, right? Because as a nation, we should feed ourselves. But music education is only bourgeoisie if it is based on Ghana Education Service concept of music education, which is we have to go and buy expensive keyboards. If we base music education on traditional music, then music education is not bourgeoisie at all. It is the best way to protect our tradition, our culture, and our history within our educational system. So Rawlings got rid of compulsory primary music education, replaced it with nothing. 40 years, we are still here, right? So it's time we look at how we use music education in primary schools to, one, introduce local languages into primary schools, two, introduce local history into primary schools, three, introduce local culture, local morality, local ideology. All these things are embedded in our traditional songs. It's just a case of choosing the right ones.
Would you want to maybe write a paper to the...
Oh, I've written a paper about it a long time ago.
Great.
I even tried working with... I've even tried working with stakeholders, and I'm still on it.
Okay.
Because it is something which is so necessary. If we don't introduce our traditional music into our local schools, such a valuable resource, you know, is being lost. And in 50 years' time, the number of us who will understand the culture or the tradition of the area in which we went to school will be lost. Of course, I understand you can't, you know, I would even wish primary school education were conducted in local languages, but I empathize with Ghana Education Service, who says they cannot guarantee that they can recruit teachers who can speak local languages and appoint them to those particular areas. However, when it comes to the traditional music, you don't need to appoint anybody from anywhere. If you go to Nungwa, there are traditional musicians in Nungwa who entertain the people when it comes to, like now we are in the middle of we are festival season, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's give them full-time employment, teaching exactly what it is, how we celebrate our Homowo.
So they come in as like an adjunct teacher or supplementary teacher, and you support the Ghana Education Service teachers?
Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Yeah. Using what we have already?
Yes, this is an existing resource, yes.
Yeah. You don't have to train anybody. They're trained.
They are trained. Yeah. And how they learn to play their music was not through the educational system. So it means there are ways of learning that exist outside of our educational system. So it is in our interest to integrate them into the educational system. Whatever methods of learning exist, right? We want to harness them. We want our children to learn those methods of learning. So music in particular is a very powerful way of developing the mind that teaches children how to learn and how to think, which is why if you learn how to play piano, your mathematics improves, right? Of course, musical notes are also mathematically divided. It's maths, yes. So, and music is something you observe or you learn by observing and interpreting yourself, especially our traditional music.
And then you do.
And then you do, right? So, and you can never be wrong. Every mistake is a new style. In art, every mistake is a new style. So the beauty of using music as a teaching tool is you teach young children, and here we're talking about primary school, is that here is something that you constantly improve.
Yeah.
It's not
you don't
right
get, you don't
or
get
wrong.
punished for making mistakes.
No.
Ruler on your head for missing a mental
No.
answer, things like that.
It's
no.
not right or wrong.
It's just a different way of doing things.
Yes. And you can get better by practicing. You can get better by just keep doing it and you'll get better. And this is also an important psychological lesson for human beings to learn, that you get better just by doing it again, over and over and over again. You don't get better by thinking about it. You get better by doing it. So with music, it's a beautiful way to teach children that, look, here, this thing, you just keep doing it and then you get better and better and better and better and better. And then suddenly you are good at it. Yeah. So plus, in the course of learning this monkey see, monkey do method of learning, which is an important way of learning. Earlier on, we were talking about, you know, the process of learning, right? In the process of doing that, you bring in the local language. The local music will contain local history. It will contain local fables. It will contain local traditions. It will mention local, you know, icons. It will, So
it's almost like learning by entertainment. It's edutainment, really.
Yes,
you're entertained. You're being entertained, but you're also learning.
And Ghana, we are blessed with the resources to be able to implement this. Go and see any chief. He will happily find musicians from within his within his cohorts to say, okay, let's implement these in the local schools. And there is a sense of responsibility and implementation. All these things are there. So these are traditional strengths we must implement. If we don't implement them, we'll lose them. And then what competitive advantage do we have over anybody else? We will have nothing except a second-hand Western system. We will have no Ghanaian component to strengthen it, right? And as second-hand users of the system, we are never going to be the owner. So if we create our own, we will be the owner. We'll be best at it.
That's it. If you're a policy maker, a lot of food for thought for you from Panji. Panji, what kind of name is Panji?
Well, Panji is a Zambian name. So if you go to Zambia, they have Tanji, Nanji, Panji, Banji even. So it's...
Do you know what it means?
Well, Panji apparently means the first son.
The first son.
Or if it doesn't mean the first son, I was named after the first son of President Kaunda.
Why were you named Panji? Why did your father give you that name?
Well, the day I was born, my parents didn't have a name for me. I was born in London. I don't know. I think actually I'm the same. I didn't have any name for any of my children until I saw them.
But you know, in the Ghanaian tradition, if you are from, especially southern Ghana, Akan, Ewe, you already have a name waiting for you the day on which you were born.
Yes, yes. Okay, so that's
what day were you born?
I was born on Friday.
So you're Kofi?
I'm Kofi, yes. But in my family, my name is Oukwesi.
Oukwesi?
Yes.
Why is
I'm
that?
one of those children who, in this case, my grandmother, so prior to my birth, my poor mother had lost 2 children. So that's the gap between my older brother and myself. So, you know how often in our traditional culture, if someone dies or someone is lost, it's who killed them or yes. So there is a custom amongst Akans of changing the name of a child who is at risk. So should somebody curse Oukwesi, I'm not Kwesi, I'm actually Kofi.
So the curse will fly over.
To fly over me.
To Fiakwa kind of style, right? But your mother is German.
My mother is German.
So why were they dropping Akan stuff on her?
Well, my father is
Akan.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, my father always knew I was going to be named after my grandfather, which is my mother's father, which he's O. And that's the Oukwesi in my name. And of course, I was going to...
What is your mother? Was your mother... Did your mother have Ghanaian heritage as well? She's fully German?
No. My mother is
fully German.
Fully German.
Okay.
Yes. And my mother was... My parents met in England, so they were 2 strangers in a foreign land.
Okay.
So
were they students?
By the time they met, both of them had finished.
Okay.
So my father was a doctor at the time, and my mother was a nurse.
Okay.
So
very complimentary.
Yes, that combination.
That's a full clinic right there.
Yeah, right there.
And then you were delivered.
Well, my brother first. My brother was born here in Ghana.
Okay.
So in 1963, my father was here. He was the doctor on duty at the Airborne Battalion in Tamale. So my father was very proud to be the only doctor in Ghana and one of the few army officers who could wear a green beret. So if you wear a green beret, it means you can jump out of a plane. You're a paratrooper.
Could he?
Yeah, he could.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I was in university, I also took great interest in parachuting, and I was even the president of the parachuting club. So parachuting is a very exciting thing.
What's it like jumping out of an airplane?
You see, you have to overcome your fear, right? So it's, before you make your first jump, you'll practice how you land.
How do you practice jumping out of a plane?
Well, you just practice the landing.
Okay. From what height? What kind of height?
Well, really, a hard landing is the equivalent of jumping from a little bit over 12 or 15 feet. So sometimes they use 20 feet in case, you have a little bit of a rough landing. But you practice by jumping from 6 feet. So you just land and you just got to roll sideways. So when you land, when you land, you bend your ankles and you roll to land.
Why?
To absorb the shock.
If you didn't land like that, if you landed straight on your legs without rolling,
it could be. I mean, when you are on a parachute, you're actually moving very slowly, and you imagine it will be very noisy. But the most beautiful thing about hanging underneath a parachute is complete silence.
So when you are dropped out of the plane, it's quiet.
Within seconds, the sound of the plane disappears. When you first jump out, of course, it's noisy because wind is rushing past your ears very fast. But as soon as your parachute opens, it is complete silence. It's so beautiful.
And what are you thinking about as you are descending?
Oh, it's just, for a start, the world looks different. From a certain height, the world suddenly looks like a postcard, right? It's like it looks really flat. It looks really small. I mean, when you jump out of a plane, you are jumping out from between 3,000 feet and 10,000 feet, right? 10,000 feet is like kind of the limit of where you can breathe without oxygen. It's complex. Or maybe you jump from 6 or 7. But you start from 3,000 feet.
Are you pushed out of the plane?
Some people, yeah.
Because
no.
What was your first jump like?
My first jump, I just wanted to do it. I'm like, if my father can do it, me too, I can do it. So I'm just going to jump out of this.
How old were you?
Oh, I was 20, I think.
Okay.
Or 21. I was still in university.
Okay.
So, the thing is, you walk and then you just jump out. So it's against every instinct in you.
Of course, because you want to preserve your life.
Yes. But as soon as you overcome it, right, it's very liberating. And then the experience is so beautiful. So as soon as you land, you just want to go up again. That's all you want to do.
So you just walk. So you jump out of the plane. Is the parachute already deployed, or you have to press something?
Okay, when you first start jumping out of a plane, right, it's called static line. So as soon as you jump out of the plane, the parachute
will deploy.
Opens, it deploys automatically. And you also have an emergency parachute. So if that parachute fails, you've got one here, you can open.
Has it happened to you before, that the first one didn't
No, my parachute has never failed.
Never failed?
No, never. And you see, once you start jumping a lot, you are actually hoping that one day your parachute will fail.
So you can use the second one. Don't you have any fears?
It's just like levels.
You will land on a building. I mean, don't you have those fears that the wind will blow you off somewhere?
You have a remarkable amount of control. Because you just steer it by pulling the sides.
Oh, so that's the steer, like a steering wheel almost.
Yeah. If you pull this side, you'll turn. If you pull this side, you'll turn.
Okay.
So, I mean, you don't have as much control as you do with like the paragliders they have at Kwe. With those ones, you can actually climb and go up.
Okay.
So, but parachute and those ones, you have a remarkable amount of control. I've flown with one guy, we're going like over.
Like cartwheels?
Yeah, cartwheels.
So
you think when you are above the parachute, you will fall down, but you are still under tension. And then you come back down again. Wow. So, I mean, he was an expert. So
and this is a club in your university?
Yes.
Parachuting club?
Our university had a parachuting club, yes.
Okay. All right.
So
back to why you were called Panji.
So on the day I was born, President Kaunda had sent his older son to start boarding school in England. So, you know, the English who are still selling us their educational system,
Yes.
you know, 58 years later, do you never wonder how do British universities have billboards in Accra, right? Isn't it interesting, right? So I'm saying this thing dear, Kaunda and Kokra bought it 60 years ago. So Kaunda sent his son to boarding school in England, and my parents read about it in the newspaper. So they said, oh, 2 Africans arrived in London on the same day. So they would name me after him. So, I mean, I think basically my parents had to find one name that they agreed on. I'm not named after anyone in my mother's family, but at the time I was born, in order to be a German citizen, you needed to have at least one name, which had to be in your compound name, which identified you 2 Germans as male or female. So if a German, prior to very recently, and it has been, of course, been changed by immigration and so on, in order to be a German citizen, you needed to have one name that every German could identify you as being male or female.
Who would have been yours?
My name in that case is Mark.
Mark.
Mark. So I'm Panjji Mark.
Really?
Kafui Anoff.
Who still calls you Panji Mark?
Oh, there are some classmates.
Really?
I have some classmates from, let's say, primary school. Hey, Panji Mark, because at some point I think it was written on my exercise
yes.
book. Or yes. So I mean.
So did that make you a German citizen?
Yes. I mean, as proud as I am of being a Ghanaian citizen, I have to also admit that I am proud of being a German citizen because their approach is very different from many other European countries. And so as a German citizen, I can pass my citizenship on to my children.
Still?
Forever.
Okay.
So long as so, and I think it is a very smart move because the more citizens you as a country have scattered around the world, of course, the better it is for you. So it is only the very narrow-minded who might think, oh, you know, having Germans in Ghana or having Germans in Kenya or in Togo is a bad thing because they are going to dilute our culture. No, it's the opposite. We are going to enrich your culture.
Does it mean that if Germany declares war on some country, they can call you a Panji Mark?
Not at my age. But I was due. My older brother actually did his military service. So you had to do your military service between the age of 18 and 26.
So your brother did military service?
My older brother did military service.
For how long?
He did 18 months. Later, it was reduced to 1 year.
Where was he posted?
Oh, he was posted all over Germany. In fact, my brother did his military service during the reunification of Germany.
Okay.
So
early 90s?
Yeah. So at the beginning of his military service, the East Germans were their enemies. And by the time he finished their military service, they were doing missions together.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I didn't do military service.
Okay. So did your mother come from East Germany, the old East Germany, or West Germany?
No, my mother's from West Germany.
West Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you speak German, though?
I speak German, yes.
Really? Say something to me.
Oh.
I'm enjoying this interview.
Ich kann alles sagen, was du willst. So, but, and, you know, the odd thing is, because my parents met in England, my parents spoke English to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, my father didn't speak Cree to us. My mother didn't speak German to us. As a family, we spoke English, even though it's an alien language for all of us.
So how did you learn German?
Mostly from my grandfather, and also by working. I mean, there are periods where I worked in Germany. When I was a student, I used to work for Bosch.
Okay.
So Bosch is one of, Bosch makes almost everything you can think of. Mm-hmm. And they are one of the greatest companies in the world because it functions as a charity. Mm-hmm. So any profit they make, they pump back into doing research and to developing tomorrow's products. Nice. So that is why Bosch is always ahead of the game in so many areas. Okay. It's because they don't have a CEO making $50 million a year. That $50 million goes back into research. So the founder decided during his lifetime that, okay, when I die, I have a successful company, but this is how I can ensure this company will be as far as I can see, the most successful company in the future. Because once I die, nobody's going to be taking profit out of this company. All the profit must go back into research and development. So for the foreseeable future, we will lead. So if you look at car fuel injection, Bosch is so far ahead of everybody else. You look at anti-locking brakes and ABS systems.
They do all of that.
Yeah, so the time I worked there, which was in the 80s, is when these things were, they were new, very novel concepts and ideas. Electronic fuel injection, which now is in every 2x2 car. They were novel ideas then. So to have fuel injection in the 70s or the 80s, first it was mechanical fuel injection, but making fuel injection electronic and controlled in the era when computers hadn't. Now, the computer in your phone can easily run the fuel injection system of a car. But in those days, they were using modules. You understand what I mean? It's like processing power was way, way less. So to make fuel injection electronic rather than mechanical means sensors and so on. It was quite a complicated business.
Why is it that Germans are known for like mechanical precision and?
It is their approach.
What's
their
their
approach is very, very ingenious and very simple. And it is one thing I wish Ghanaians would learn from Germans. They just say, probieren geht über studieren. That means trying to do it is superior to studying it or to theorizing about it.
Okay.
So if the Germans want to build a machine, they will build what they can build tomorrow. And then they will start using it. And then they are meticulous with maintenance. They will see what is starting to go wrong. Maybe by the time that component fails, they have designed a new component to replace it. So simply by observing this machine and maintaining it meticulously, you will start to see the components which are failing fastest. So you just replace those components or you improve the design of those components, but keep everything else exactly the same. So if you look at the famous 6-cylinder engine in a BMW, right, you will be amazed to find that the piston, which is in a BMW 316, you can find that same piston in a BMW 325 because they just add 2 more. You can find that exact same piston in a BMW motorcycle, right? The Boxer engine, right? The R60, the R80s. It's the same piston. So they've perfected a piston design.
And they just add on.
And they just build the whole engine around this, like we've got this piston right. We've got this cylinder block right. So when we want a 4-cylinder engine, we'll use 4 of them. We want a 6-cylinder engine, we'll use 6 of them, right? And just so on and so forth. So once you get something right, you don't change the design, just keep improving it.
So you don't have to keep building new, different things. You're just adding on to what you already have.
And improving. So that is the probieren, try it.
Okay.
Try Makwe, try it and see. Do something. So rather than think, okay, if I do this, it will be like this. If I do this, no.
Well, the first thing if I do it, I'll fail. So they won't do it.
No, the first thing that comes into your head, do it. If it doesn't work, improve on it. So the thing is, you've got to embrace failure in order to adopt this approach. The reason why we theorize and think so much about something before we do it is because we don't want to fail. But sometimes failing is the fastest way to achieve something. So you fail, you go back to the drawing board. It's the first mistake, the first thing that tripped you, okay, you've got rid of that. There's still something there that's going to trip you, right? But you've got rid of the first one. Somebody can plan all the way to the end of the destination without taking that first hurdle into account,
That's not gonna happen.
right? So they will reach where I am now. They spent 10 years planning, but they hadn't taken that first hurdle into account, right? So in 10 years' time, they'll learn about this first hurdle. The only way I could learn about it is by going to meet it, falling and tripping over it. So I tripped over it 9 years ago. I have improved my design. So by the time you enter the market with your perfect design, I have already got 80% of the market share. And I have improved my design to the point where it's either damn close to yours or it's better. Right? So that if you want to do something, just do it like Nike. Just do it.
Do you think the Chinese have taken the German mentality to the next level?
Me, in Ghana, I would say it's like the Chinese have a bad name because of galamsey and this and this and this. But the thing is, on a business level, right? China has come to change the world. Right? Recently, I did a little bit of consultancy for somebody, and I was comparing the prices of good quality sound equipment from China to good quality sound equipment from Europe, right? In many cases, sure, there's a shipping cost from China, it's slightly higher than from Europe. But in many cases, Europe, $2,000, China, $300. And these are similar brands that I have used. Okay.
What about the quality?
You see, China produces every quality. If you buy the best China has to offer, it is on par with anything else in the world.
Will it be at par at the 2,000 level, or the best will be at 300?
No. I would say the best Chinese equipment is on par or better with the best you can get from Europe or America. On par or better. And usually, it is less than half the cost, especially if you buy in quantity, right? So, it's almost as though China is making the price of us competing on the global market half, sometimes 1/4 of what it used to be, right? And I think that that is a wonderful thing, right? So imagine, or look at the big trucks. I don't want to misquote, but there are certain man diesel trucks, articulator heads, $200,000. There is a Chinese equivalent, $75,000. So sure, the man diesel will do 1 million kilometers. But me, as the operator of a trucking business, surely I would rather buy two. By the time either of them fail, they have paid for themselves, and I'll buy more work. Yeah. I've done more work with two trucks than I could do with one. And even here, you are getting more than two trucks.
Yeah, almost.
Sure, I still love the man diesel. I've put my eye inside engines, Charlie. The man diesels are incredible, right? Nobody, the best Japanese, the best Chinese, nothing can match them yet. The best Volvos, the best Renault, nobody. But if I can buy a Chinese truck for 1/3 the price, if I get half the service out of it,
you're done.
Yes. And what it means is I don't have to wait until I have 200,000 before I can buy my first truck. I can buy my first truck as soon as I have 75, right? Or 80, whatever. So I think business where the future is concerned, and also we have been brainwashed into thinking China is cheap goods. No, the highest quality in the world right now comes from China. The cheapest goods in the world also come from China.
So they have the whole range.
They've got the entire range. Yes.
Whatever your pocketbook can support.
What do you want to buy? But I can't see us buying the things that we were dependent on the West for until now. Right? Most of what we buy used to come from England for a long time. Then some of what we bought came from other European countries and came from America. At some point in the 70s, 80s, we got some equipment from Russia. We started getting some farm equipment from Brazil. But today, with the exception of stolen or accident cars, anything we buy new, more or less,
it's from China.
The vast majority, sure. There are, brand new Kias, brand new Toyotas in Ghana, but they are a small fraction of the car market. And I believe eventually, stolen cars will be a thing of the past, because without being connected to the net, they won't function at all. So,
and EVs are coming.
Well, and the Europeans will implement it, but then they will find that it's shipped there, because the only brand new vehicles we can afford will come from China. Yeah. So, the whole thing about EVs, I'm in two minds. What is
electric vehicles?
I believe in diesel vehicles that run on vegetable oil. In Ghana, many times I've been in the bush somewhere. You can't trust how clean the diesel is, but I'll just pour a jingle inside my car, and I'll drive it.
Palm kernel oil.
Yes.
Palm kernel oil.
Yes. So every old diesel engine will run perfectly, or even better than it runs on diesel, on palm kernel oil.
You've tried it?
I've done it on my old. It works, and so long as it's a mechanical fuel pump. These new high common rail, but the old diesel engines, they run perfectly. I believe that is probably the ideal solution for us in terms of how do we generate power. We just use diesel engines, and we use vegetable-based diesel, right?
Are the scientists thinking about this? Or they're theorizing and not trying and doing?
No. It's not. There are no scientists deciding on the future of our planet or of us, because all research must be funded. So all research that is being done by vested interests, right? And those vested interests have already determined the outcome. It's just like how, vegetable oils were decided, and tropical vegetable oils are mostly healthy, but the cold climate, seed oils are not very healthy. But how did an entire medical profession, in complete disagreement with what medical results were suggesting, how did they tell us margarine is healthy? How did they tell us, eat these vegetable oils which are killing us, right? So, and in Ghana, thank God, we are really lucky, we are blessed. Why? Because fritol, which is the most common vegetable oil, is actually made out of palm oil. Most Ghanaians don't realize that fritol is just refined and purified palm oil. Whether the process does good or harm to the oil, every individual themselves should go and do that research, right? But how can palm oil be bad for you if fritol is good for you? In Ghana, we are lucky. At least the source of our most common vegetable oil is a healthy oil, which is palm oil.
Which is available to us here.
Which is, yes. So we are lucky with the oil. But why did we come to this?
Well, we're talking about just China, Europe, and then I said
you're talking about research.
Yes, electrical vehicles
you
are
said,
coming.
Why aren't the
scientists not dealing
looking
with that?
at...
And he's talking about vested interests and things like that.
Well, Brazil, for instance, is very big on fuels which are produced by agriculture. The way they approached it may not have been best, but as of today, the huge surplus that Argentina has in beef tallow, which they would normally export to America, because of the tariffs, they are turning it into diesel. So, you can produce beef tallow at a cost similar to diesel that you are buying from the pump. So, the cost of it. And in Ghana, at the moment, a gallon of palm kernel oil is closer to 100 cedis. But there are times when it's very close to the cost of diesel. At the moment, diesel is about 50 or, let's say, 50 thereabouts. So, it fluctuates.
Indeed.
At the moment, crude oil is not very expensive. When crude oil becomes very expensive, palm kernel oil is often cheaper. And then the trotro drivers have been doing this thing
the palm kernel stuff.
That's why they call diesel Ajengo. Anytime diesel is more expensive than palm kernel oil, the trotros are driving around using palm kernel oil.
One time. Before we go...
So that I believe is a much better solution for human transport, because a lot of energy is lost in the transportation of power. So when you have an internal combustion engine, the process takes place inside your car, and then it drives your wheel. If you have an electric car, the electricity must be generated far away somewhere. That electricity must then be transported to where you over lines.
So it's expensive.
Yes. So losses in the transportation of electricity are much, much higher than the losses in the transportation of gas or oil or petrol, for instance.
So EVs will make it more expensive.
All I'm saying is,
Battery
you have
power.
an EV, you are saying it doesn't pollute. But where are you producing Ghana, we have lots of thermal plants right now. They're burning natural gas. So if we use that electricity coming from the thermal plant to power my car, have I really altered pollution by much? Because in order to generate that power there on the thermal, on the barge, by the time it gets to me, 20% is lost. I'm also going to charge my battery. By the time I finish charging the battery, 20% is lost. And then the efficiency of that engine, another 20% is lost. So that geothermal plant needs to generate 500 megawatts for me to get 100 megawatts of power into my movement. However, if I go and buy 500 megawatts of diesel or petrol and I put it in my car, 400 megawatts of that is going to propel me.
So more efficient.
I believe so.
I'm just curious.
It's just my personal opinion.
How come you know so much about engines?
Well, I studied mechanical engineering, and me, I love engineering. Okay. I find it fascinating because everything, even your arms, like, you know, our joints, the way the body functions, everything is made up of mechanics and vibrations. And so I'm still fascinated by engineering, even though I'm not a practicing engineer per se.
Did you know you were going to be an engineer? I mean, when did you know?
See, as for the engineering, my father was a doctor, and my older brother said he was going to be a doctor. So, he said he was. But my older brother also became an electrical engineer.
Okay.
So me being the second born, you know, it's like, obviously, I am not going to follow my father's footsteps. So it's like, I think in deciding what I might do, it was based more on, I'm not going to do what my father does. Yeah. Which is, now that I'm older, I realize that I'm actually much more like my father, who was very calm, very, you know, because in expression, I'm very giddy-giddy. It's that we are actually much more similar in nature than I thought, because me, I'm a giddy-giddy person, and my father was the opposite. But in how we think and how we approach things, we actually have much more in common. So, and, you know, now that I'm older, I also realize that in some ways, you know, I have elements of a healer in myself, right? And I think that healing process, or, you know, being a healer, because music is a healing form of art, you know, and if somebody really has a powerful experience, a great deal of joy, it's a healing process. So, you know, in spite of me being, you know, I'm the rebellious one, of course, I think doing medicine is something I should have taken more seriously, because now that I'm an adult, I realize that actually I like taking care of people. You know, or I'm a carer, right? So it wouldn't have been a bad thing if actually I had become a doctor.
Okay. Yeah. So you're born in the UK?
Yes.
How long did you live in the UK?
The first 3 years of my life.
Okay.
Then we came to Jowulu. Yes.
Okay.
So we lived in Jowulu for about a year, or maybe a year and a half. And then we lived in Burma camp for most of my childhood.
Because your father was a military officer?
Yes, my father was.
Your father worked with General Champong?
My father worked with every government. And in fact, my father was very fortunate that when the revolution happened and, you know, senior army officers were very much out of favor, my father was one of the few officers that was very popular amongst the other ranks, as they were called, because he looked after their children. And my father gave equal attention to each child. He said, no child has a rank. So when you come, if you are a child and you are sick, usually your mother will bring you.
Yes.
Yes. Don't come and tell me you are Major General this and this and this, so you are going to the front of the queue. No. If your child is the sickest child, you can come to the front of the queue. So he had a nursing orderly who he worked very closely with. And the nursing orderly had to decide which case was had to be at most urgent, yes. And you deal with them in terms of urgency. And sometimes, I remember there was one in particular, some army officers' wives would try and bully him that, what do you mean? I should go and
join the queue?
Yeah, sit behind Lance Corporal so and so's. She may not know the rank, Bob no rank's wife, and then me, General this thing. And I remember once, my father had a conversation with him where he said, look, if they are trying to bully you, come and call me, and I will come and tell them, right? But don't let them bully you, because a child has no rank. If, because we bring General so-and-so's child first, Private so-and-so's child dies, right? You will not forgive yourself. I'll not forgive myself. So don't let anybody come and bully you with ranks. There is no rank here.
What kind of doctor was your father?
He was a pediatrician.
Oh, he looked after
So
children.
he was looking after children, yes.
Okay.
I mean, if he was looking after officers, he would not be able to do that.
Did he tell you
Because
why?
there's no way officers will accept that.
No, they won't.
No. Yeah, you are going to look after Bob, no rank.
Before me, the general. Did your father ever tell you why he chose to be a pediatrician?
Yes, actually. Well, it's a very sad story, actually. So my father was an only child until he was maybe 7 or 8 years old. And because my mother was a queen mother, having a daughter was very important to her.
His mother?
Yes,
your father's mother?
my father's mother.
So
yes.
your grandma?
My grandmother, yes. So, you know, for her, having a daughter was very, very important because, of course, your sons are important to you. And my grandmother, dear, she treated my father as if he was like, diamond is not, it's too small.
It's too cheap, eh?
It's too cheap. It's too cheap. So, but so it wasn't that. But what my father says was, of course, she wanted a daughter. So I think when my father was about 7 or 8, his mother had another child who was a girl, and you know all the attention in the house and obviously went to the girl. So I think my father, however briefly, harbored negative thoughts or energy for his sister, and then unfortunately for him, the poor girl too passed away.
Oh.
So imagine a child of 7 or 8, you carry this guilt to your adulthood.
Yeah.
That maybe I'm the one who prayed for her to die, or
yeah.
I wish she died. It just in passing, you're so, oh, this girl cry, I wish she would die. You understand what I mean? So that we'll go back to our old way of life. Yes. And then it comes to pass.
Oh,
so,
wow.
But actually, even in spite of that, my father said he wanted to study philosophy. And his mother told him that, look, you've seen what the infant mortality rate in Ghana is, right? So your generation of Ghanaians, because by then it was obvious Ghana was heading towards independence. Because my father would have left Ghana in maybe 1951, 52. You know, Nkrumah was already becoming leader of government. Post 48, things were happening. So my grandmother told him, your generation of Ghanaians, you have to become doctors. Make sure the children can live long enough to appreciate philosophy. So your children's generation, yes, they can be philosophers, they can be artists. But your generation doesn't have that choice.
It came to pass, though.
And it came to pass. Yes.
Because
All my father's children are artists.
Artists.
Yes.
Your grandma sounds like a very wise
Yeah, she
old
was
woman.
very wise.
What was she like?
Oh, you know, my grandmother was incredibly wise, incredibly industrious, because she looked after so many people, right? And unfortunately, in the 70s, the inflation collapsed her businesses. Because her businesses one of her biggest businesses was that she bought a lot of cloth and she supplied it to cocoa farmers at Christmas, at Easter, if they had a funeral. And then during cocoa season, she would go and collect her money.
Because they've been paid.
They've been paid. If necessary, she will come and take payment in cocoa and go and sell it herself, right?
Nice.
So she's happy to do barter. And there were many cocoa farmers in places that my grandmother could reach who were not even all that interested in, if you tell them, okay, they know this farm produces 10 bags of cocoa. So if you tell them, okay, I'll take 1 bag of cocoa or half a bag of cocoa for all this cloth, they are happy. The money is not really important to them. So initially, she did a lot of barter and less cash. But by the 70s, she was primarily cash-based. And then when the inflation of the 80s came, it's like maybe you have outstanding credit for 1,000 pieces of cloth, let's just say for argument's sake. But by the time you've collected all the money, you can only buy 600 pieces of cloth.
Okay.
And then you buy 600, because you are not going to stop doing your business.
No.
And then by the time you sold those 600, your stock has reduced to 400.
So it was just declining.
It was just declining until that business went bankrupt.
Do you know how she felt when all this was happening?
Later on, I understood that inflation is not a concept which my grandmother truly understood. And because she was running her own business, when things started going south, it's perhaps I don't think anybody in our generation had seen that kind of inflation. So we didn't believe it was going to go on for 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years. Don't forget 1972, which is the first time I remember changing money, because somebody gave me $10 and somebody gave me 20 Deutschmarks. Both of them were equivalent to 5 new Ghana cedis. That's it was at the time.
$10 was equal to 5 cedis.
Yes.
So it was 1:2.
1:2.
Yeah.
And do you know what it is today?
They say 12, but I think you have to add those zeros
You have
chopped off.
No, you have to add the zeros back.
It's 120,000, man.
Yes.
It's a lot of zeros.
So, are you telling me Ghana is worth 120,000th of what it was worth in 1972 relative to America? No, it's impossible. So, we've been scammed, right? It's to start getting obvious to people that
the value was not the same.
Where did the value go?
You remember the song, right?
Yeah,
I hope you didn't compose that song.
No. Do you know who did it?
Who composed that song?
Professor Anku at Legon.
There is no change in value.
Yeah, the value is the same. I actually thought it was a brilliant jingle.
It was not. We still sing it.
Willie Anku did it.
But the value changed.
The value has been changing my entire life. Right? So, where did 119,000... And don't forget, no, we have to multiply it by 2, because it was $2 to 1 cedi in the early 70s.
Exactly.
I swear, look it up, right?
Yeah, 2 to 1.
So now we have to, today, let's say it's 12.
Yes, but add the 4 zeros.
120,000 times 2, 240,000. Okay, so I want to know, as somebody who was alive when $2 was 1 Ghana cedi.
2 cedis was $1.
No,
$2 was 1 cedi.
$2 was 1 cedi.
Exactly.
And 1 cedi was 4 Deutschmarks, right? In this is even 73, because I'm saying the dollars was like 72, but the Deutschmarks was closer to 73, maybe even 74.
We had a good economy, right?
See, where is the other 239,999? Where is that fraction of the where's that fraction of the cedi gone? It's this fiat currency, right? Until, as long as the dollar was indexed to gold, Ghanaians were wealthy.
Yes.
Right? In 1970, Chokosi, who was my father's Batman, paid by the Ghana Army. You know, the Ghana Army has a Batman for every officer. You're supposed to polish your boots and your pips and so on. His pay, right, was 10 Ghana cedis a month. My father's pay was 33 cedis. So the difference between a senior army officer and a Batman, that's the lowest pay rank in the Ghana Army, was 3 to 1. Chokosi, every weekend, him and his friends, they will cook soup, and they will buy 2 cartons of mini club beer, right? The 24 bottles in a carton, but the short beer, they used to call the akufs.
Yes.
Because they reminded us of senior.
Yes, senior.
Yes, but the value is the same. the structure there. Oh, me wafa. My side there wakakra. I feel so you share space who are there clear. So imagine.
Chokosi had a good time.
I said Chokosi and his friends every weekend. This is which Batman in Ghana today, where there is, how much is 1 carton of beer? 200 cedis. How can my whole salary, can I buy 2 cartons of beer
every weekend? And
then the soup is soup. If it's chicken, there's 2 chicken inside. If it's beef, they go and buy meat, right? And this is what I let's say, for salary's sake, I'll say is a domestic servant, because you are a Batman. Is
you serve the general.
Yes, that is your job.
Or the officers,
right?
Yeah.
So that is the standard of living. Look, in the 70s in Ghana, right? Nobody will tell you, I don't have money to go to hospital, or I don't have money to pay my children's school fees. It didn't exist. I swear, it didn't exist. It didn't exist. It's like throughout my lifetime, this poverty, which I attribute 100% to fiat currencies, right? Because you can't tell me, when I first came to Ghana, the population of Ghana was 5 million people. Today we are 35 million people. Our value has increased, has it not? Those human beings, each one of them is value. At that time, the population of America was around 200 and something million. It's now 300 and something million. It hasn't even increased by... Ghana's population has increased by how many?
7 times.
7 times. America's population has increased by how much?
1.5.
Okay.
We they born too much.
Oh, good.
Good. Make we continue the born.
Yes, yes. See, the biggest problem Japan is facing, the biggest problem Germany is facing, the biggest problem Denmark is facing, the biggest problem Norway is facing, is that the population is in decline. That is why Angela Merkel brought those 2 million refugees during the crisis. She knew more than 1 million of them were Africans. You think Angela Merkel is not smart? She knew, me as a German, I can tell you officially, Angela Merkel told me, he said, oh, these people, they say they are Syrians. Look at them, they are Nigerians, they are Ghanaians. We like them, they can born power. Say, one African man said he can born 10 German children. The average German family is 1.2 children. Average German family. What is the... Me, I have 2 children, right? I feel I've done some. At least me and my wife, we've replicated ourselves. We haven't added, we haven't taken away. Nyamin Pengu, let my children live longer than me. Then I know that, okay, we have done some. However, if as a family, you have less than 2 children, you've got to understand that the population is going to decline, right? So long as the average family in Germany is less than 2 children, and it's been for the last, it's been in decline.
Why are they not giving birth
in
to
Japan,
children?
they sell more Pampers to old people than they do to babies. Go and look up that statistic. Japan sells more adult Pampers than baby Pampers.
But why are they not reproducing themselves? Let's talk about Germany, since you know that. Why are the Germans not giving birth to more children? Are they hopeless about the future?
I think it is, you see, society has told them that there are many things that are far more important than your family. One of those things is you yourself, right? So individualism, I believe, dismantles certain structures, right? Ghana, we are still very community-based, and we will not appreciate the value of it until it's gone, right? How are we community-based? The community is just about communication. How many people do we communicate with in a day? I can tell you that when I lived in London, I had a neighbor, right? She can tell you I haven't spoken to anybody for 6 weeks, right? So you are isolated. And if you don't talk to people, your brain starts dying, unless you talk to yourself. So me, talking to yourself, I think is healthy, because some people some people think talking to yourself, oh, you are mad or this. No. Talking to yourself is very, very healthy, because instead of thinking something, if you say it, you yourself have heard it. It's easier for you to believe it. So I believe like prayer. How does prayer work? I'm manifesting. They say you are speaking the words into the universe. Yeah. No, you are speaking the words into your own stubborn ears. So, do I believe in prayer? Yes, of course. But I don't believe that it is, new redeemers, or is Jesus Christ, or that is the reason why my prayers work. I believe my prayers work because I myself have committed to this. So, if I'm asking God for something, I can also ask myself for it. Okay, you've promised yourself that you will do this. Now don't let yourself down. And I think that as human beings, an easy way to achieve goals is to promise yourself something. Right? Okay, I promised myself, Charlie, I'm going to do this. So no matter how difficult things get, I'm not going to give up. I made myself a promise. Of course, there are times when we need to give up on something. Right?
What have you given up on?
What have I given up on? To be very honest, all of my dreams are still alive. Right? So, and I'm passionate about many things, and I try to pace them. So, writing is one of the things, and by writing, I think storytelling is a part of writing. So there was a point in my life when I thought, I was going to be a full-time writer. And because I had a lot of success, you know, first with magazines and newspapers, and then going to work with the BBC as a journalist, that kind of made me feel that, okay, I've kind of achieved this goal. But I felt that, you know, letters, you know, don't forget, in those days, film was so, you know, outrageously expensive. But I felt that letters and writing was not going to be the best way to communicate with exactly what you described, this young population that we have in Ghana. So the only way we can communicate with this young population is if we use music. So, and everybody who writes lyrics, that person is a writer, right? So, you know, I want to see you, my father. Person is a writer.
Was music one of your goals? Or it evolved out of the writing?
Well, I mean, like you know, I've always, you know, been interested in music. I've always recorded, I've always produced music. So music was always on the back burner. But I actually genuinely thought I would, and also let me admit, you know, writing was quite lucrative. So I'd say...
It was?
Yeah.
In the UK?
In the UK, yes.
So what kind of things were you writing?
Oh, Desmond's is the one that made me
the series?
The series.
You were a writer on Desmond's?
Yeah, that one made me good money.
Okay.
So
how did you get the gig?
Well, actually, the gig partly came through Tuno. So Tuno, yes.
You your Tuno?
Me, my Tuno, yes. So one day I met the producer here in Ghana, because Jabo Asante, who was...
Yes.
So I met the producer and I said to him, you know, I've been watching your series, but I think like the character or the characters of Desmond's children were very undeveloped. And so I felt that they were not making the most of the series. And by then also there was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, the Cosby show had already run for a while, but so let's say as far as Desmond's is concerned, that is like our competition, right?
Okay. And what was the timing? I mean, when did Desmond's come before Cosby show or after?
No, Cosby show I think came first.
Okay.
Then Desmond's, then Fresh Prince.
So in the scheduling in a day, you'd have what, Cosby show before Desmond's?
No. They wouldn't even appear on the same day. But I'm just saying,
those were
when they arrived. No, those were the only black family-based comedy shows in the whole world.
Exactly, sure.
Right? It's not. There were no others, right? It was. So Family Matters goes to the 70s, but I'm talking 80s. The 80s to the 90s. Yeah. The Cosby Show and Fresh Prince was coming from America. Britain had Desmond's.
So what did the producer say when you gave him this critique?
He asked me, did I think I could do better? And I said, well, it's not that I think I can do better, but I think nobody's ever really done it.
The German philosophy, try and do it,
yeah.
right?
So, and at the time, I felt I had a lot of exposure to black barbershop culture, because cutting hair is something I've always done as a hobby, you know. To cut hair, you need an eye. It has nothing to do with how skilled your hand is. It's just what can you see.
What were you using? Blade and comb?
Oh, trimmers. Trimmers, okay. Yes. Right. So I can use blade and comb. I can use scissors. Scissors too, I'm very, very good with scissors. But eventually, once fade, I can draw patterns in your hair. I can do all that.
Next time we'll do an interview, and then you will be in Panji's barbershop. You cut my hair while we talk.
Okay.
Deal?
Oh yeah. And let your hair grow small.
It will grow.
And I promise you, you can't change the shape of someone's head, but you can change how people perceive the shape of their head to be with literally just millimeters of hair.
You are using your mechanical engineering.
No, this is my art eye. So it's like if I cut your hair, I will make you look good, because I'm looking at you and I'm deciding, I'm not just cutting your hair, but I'm deciding how to bring out the best shape of your head. Yeah, to enhance you. Yes.
So you were familiar with barbershop culture, and you told the man that you could write something.
Yes, that I was very familiar with barbershop culture.
Had you written any
Well, I've been working as a journalist. Okay. So, I mean, I've been writing, and I mean, I'd also I'd done some theater work, not as a writer, but as a performer, because I was interested in that sphere.
Okay.
So, but I said, look, I think if we try and define exactly who these characters are, then all the writers, because writing for Desmond's, I think we were a total of maybe 7 or 8 people in total. That's the whole writing
With all the
team.
writers. So how do they work? They put you all in the one room?
Only when we are editing the scripts or when we are planning the series.
Okay.
But everybody goes away. So the American system of writing, so America too, I did a little bit of writing, but the American system of writing is completely different. Everybody sitting around the table, they'll bring an idea, and then basically it can be 50 writers. Everybody's job is just to throw in jokes, right? But there's no real coherence to the story because no one structures the story together. The British approach, one writer will create the story and get, let's say, to 90% of the destination. Then in a much shorter writing session, which will take maybe at most a day or 2, then the other writers will contribute lines that they can to the other person's.
So you wrote all the jokes and everything for the people?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to.
How many years were you on Desmond's for?
A total of, I guess, 4 years. And it was very convenient for me because I could spend a lot of time here in Ghana at that time. And then because writing peaked maybe March, April, May, June, and then that's the main writing season. The rest I can do remotely.
Okay.
Because I'm just writing a script. So I had to be there at certain times, but I could work remotely.
And so they give the credits to all the writers, right?
Yeah. If you look, you see my written by Panjji Anoff. And 2 episodes that I wrote were nominated for BAFTA awards.
Okay.
We also won one Royal Television Award with one of my scripts. So basically the entire team, they choose which story they think was the best that season, and then they put that forward to competitions. So for 2 years, out of the 6 or 7 writers, not to say I was better than them, but some of them would opt to do 2 scripts, but I've always focused like, okay, every year I want to do 1 script and I want to put all my energy and effort into it. So so I think it worked out well for me. Yes.
How did you feel to win recognition on that level?
Well, it is, myself personally, I only think recognition is important for the disbelievers around me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, accolades, awards are important because it forces other people
to believe.
Yes.
But for you, you're just working, right?
Yes. For me, myself, if I have belief in something, nobody can discourage me. In fact, the more you discourage me, every word of discouragement for me is a word of encouragement, because I know that, you see, if somebody is discouraging you from doing something, they are either afraid of it, or they know it's right, and they don't want you to get there before them.
So either way, keep going.
Either way, yes, Charlie, that is now you should, Charlie.
More fire.
more fire. So, and of course, there are some people who might advise me not to do something, and I believe it is out of genuine love and concern for me. But those things will not have to do with, let's say, for instance, if I think something is possible and you are discouraging me, no, it's
never happen.
Yeah, it's first I believe something is possible.
And then you do.
Yes, once I believe it is possible, then I will try and find an approach or a mechanism that will allow me to think it's possible. So first I believe it's possible, but I want to think it's possible. So sure, my belief is important but apart from believing it, I want a practical, it's like I know, okay, I want to get there, but to get there, there's a blockade here. So I've got to go here, here, and then here, or here, here, and here. I can't go to...
This is the engineering you're working now. Always getting to a solution.
Trying to find, yes. I believe in solutions.
We'll talk about Pidgin music. We'll talk about your filmmaking as well. But before that, you were a BBC journalist.
Yes.
How did you get that gig? What was the training like? What were some of the interesting experiences you had?
I am the first and last recipient of, I don't know why after me they decided not to continue that scholarship scheme.
You over there?
I don't know, but
What was the scholarship scheme?
so there was a very there was a black journalist who worked for the BBC in the 80s, and he was called Martin Shaw King. And he made the BBC understand, even if by force, and he started capturing the early history of hip-hop. So today, if you are looking for the earliest interviews, serious interviews of Rakim, or KRS-One, or Public Enemy, it's probably in the BBC's archives. Because Martin Shaw King understood the importance of this. Because at the beginning, you know, hip-hop, rap, it was just like noise. It's like we failed to understand that this is a powerful political movement. It's a powerful movement of resistance. Of course, the path has veered, but you remember, let's say the first 10 years of hip-hop. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
Yep.
It was very socially, yes.
I'm close to the edge.
It was about the story of black existence we had never heard, right? So Martin Shaw King made the BBC realize that if you have a very progressive black journalist working for you, he will create value for you, because people are buying this footage. It's made the BBC thousands and thousands of pounds over time. And also, it makes them appear as though they were very progressive at that time.
And they care about black people.
Yes, well. And the fact is, Martin Shaw had to really fight to be able to make some of those programs, but at least he won.
So was there a scholarship in his name?
Yes, it was called the Martin Shaw King Scholarship.
How do you apply for it? What did you have to do to?
Actually, there were like thousands of applicants. I don't know how I made it, but I was chosen.
One person?
One.
What did you have to do?
Well, I had the freedom to work in any area of BBC production that I choose.
For how long?
For 1 year.
What did you choose?
I chose live television, because I've always been fascinated by live television. I chose documentaries. And I also did some live radio programs with pre-recorded inserts.
Did you meet John Peel?
No, John Peel was in London. I was at the Birmingham office.
Okay.
So Birmingham has, Top Gear was produced from our building.
Okay, the car show.
The car show,
okay.
Yes. At that time, Jeremy Clarkson and co, they were all young.
Okay.
Because I worked for the BBC from 1991 to 93.
Okay.
So this is the very, very beginning of,
okay.
So then, we would sit down and meet in the cafeteria every day, because there's a staff canteen.
Okay. What surprised you in your time on this scholarship? Or any adventures?
Oh, well, it made me realize, okay, the most interesting thing that I came across during my entire time at the BBC was a note that said, from now on, Robert Mugabe is persona non grata, and we will refer to him as Robert Mugabe. That means you don't put the president before his name. You're a journalist.
Yes.
By law, before you, even Obama, you still say President Obama. He's no longer the president.
Exactly so.
Yes.
Who wrote this note?
I don't know who wrote it, but
Was
this
it
note
handwritten or
went.
typed?
No, this was a typed message.
Okay.
So this was a conscious decision the BBC made in 1991 to begin the dismantling of Robert Mugabe as a hero.
Why?
And just not too long before, sometime in the late 80s, or maybe even in the late 80s, Robert Mugabe came to Ghana. Mm-hmm. And Robert Mugabe received the biggest welcome any head of state had ever received, because he came with his Ghanaian wife, Sally Mugabe. And school children lined up from the airport all the way to, it's like almost to the center of Accra. Millions of school children. And so when I saw this, I thought, do these people sitting far away here in England think by declaring Robert Mugabe persona non grata, that they can change how popular Robert Mugabe is in Ghana. It's like, these guys are jokers, so you take the president off his name and so what. And however, what I didn't understand is that this thing doesn't take 1 year or 2 years or 5 years or 10. It takes 10 years. It takes 15 years. Ask any Ghanaian whether Robert Mugabe was good or bad in 1990. Every one of them will tell you Robert Mugabe is a hero. By 2005, 2010, ask the average Ghanaian, they'll tell you he's a dictator and he's destroying the Zimbabwean economy. They won't tell you about the sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe's economy. They won't tell you that when Zimbabwe built the world's largest tobacco trading floor, they waited until they finished building it, then they embargoed Zimbabwean tobacco, right? And who buys tobacco? British American tobacco. So the moment there's an embargo, so the Zimbabwean economy was intentionally destroyed.
Why?
It was destroyed because Robert Mugabe demanded the money Britain owed them. So the Zimbabwe independence movement was based on something called the Lancaster House Agreement. And there's a very famous Nigerian professor called Professor Adedeji. He was working within the United Nations organizations at the time. And he told Robert Mugabe, he said, look, this deal they are offering you, that you are not going to address land reform until 10 years after independence. That was the Lancaster House Agreement. Don't take this deal. And Robert Mugabe, he said, listen, land reform, you must address immediately, right? Otherwise, this independence is meaningless. If the assets of Zimbabwe, right, you must address land reform. Professor Adedeji, may he rest in peace, he was right. So what the British said, and my details may not be 100% accurate, but the crux of it is this. The British said, okay, any British citizen who wants to leave Zimbabwe and return to Britain, you, the Zimbabwean government, should pay them market price for their farm. After 10 years, we will calculate the total amount of money that you, Zimbabwe, have spent buying your own land back from our citizens, and then we'll compensate you.
This sounds like what the Haitians had to do when they kicked out the French, and then they kept paying reparations for over 100 and something years. They just finished paying it not too long ago in the 20th century.
So for 10 years after
they
independence,
had to buy back their own land.
Yes, the Zimbabweans, well, it seemed to make sense. So that all British people who were in Rhodesia, they want to go back home, okay, buy their land, and then we, the British government, will compensate you. So this seemed like a fair deal. Except when it came time for Britain to pay, they said,
F you.
Your mother. So, then, and this was Margaret Thatcher at that time, right? So, imagine, Britain owed Zimbabwe billions. And they just said, we won't pay. So, and then these same people will say, oh, Robert Mugabe has destroyed the economy. Yes, so a lot of the economic boom in 80s Britain was some of that capital coming from Zimbabwe back to Britain. The other economic boom came from the Indians who left Uganda and Kenya. And
when Amin kicked them out.
Yes. So
that note's really surprised. Was it on the notice board?
No. I just saw it.
Oh, you saw the note somewhere? It wasn't meant for public consumption?
No, it wasn't meant. But it is being circulated.
Okay.
So
was it signed by anybody?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So and it made me realize that all media has an agenda, right? It may be a noble agenda, so there's nothing wrong with media having a noble agenda. But what I also realized is that I could work for the BBC as a body. The BBC is controlled by an ombudsman. BBC World Service, however, is controlled by the Foreign Office. There are no regulators. They can do whatever they want. So this thing actually was BBC World Service.
The one that is piped to us to listen to here.
Yes. So BBC in Britain, I don't know. Well, Charlie, now everything has got extreme. But I don't know if they would be able to get away with referring to a president, a legitimately elected president of a country, as a dictator, or referring to the legitimately elected president of a country as Robert Mugabe. No, not even Mr., not doctor, not professor. You know, Robert Mugabe had more academic qualifications than any other president in the history of not only Africa, the whole world. So while President Mugabe was locked up in jail, Charlie, he was just eating degrees. So the man was a sharp brain, but, you know, so anyway, Robert Mugabe.
So that was your experience. That was something that surprised you in the UK.
Yes, that they actually sit down, that there's somebody sitting down, deciding that, okay, see, this Robert Mugabe, we owe him billions. Our government says they are not going to pay. How am I going to spoil his name? Right? And that's when they also impose sanctions. So it's like, if the sanctions are harsh enough, his own people will overthrow him. Right? He'll become unpopular. Same thing we saw here in Ghana with Nkrumah. You know what I mean? Squeeze the country economically, the people will blame the leader, and he'll become unpopular. Even though Kofi Ganaba told me that...
The musician?
Yes.
Formerly known as Guy Warren?
Guy Warren,
okay.
Yes. So for, let's say, between 2000 and maybe 2005, thereabouts, I used to go to Kofi Ganaba's house every Thursday. So every Thursday, I was at Kofi Ganaba's disposal.
Why Thursdays?
I don't know. I
just
chose Thursday. Because Thursday traffic is not too bad. At least 20 years ago, it wasn't.
Where did you live back then?
Mid-year.
Mid-year, okay.
Yeah. So I go there. Whatever he wants me to do. If he wants me to wash his cloth, I'll wash. Organize his library, I'll do. Repair his drums, I'll do. Take me here, I'll do. So much so that actually, when my father died, Kofi Ganaba, JJ Rawlings thought I was Kofi Ganaba's son and not my father's son.
Okay.
Even though JJ was, you know, from going back to, you know, the 70s or early 80s, it's just he had seen me with Kofi Ganaba so often, he thought I was Ganaba's son and not my father's son. But, so sometimes you go and see, and Kofi Ganaba was perhaps one of the few people who talk to Rawlings with a great degree of forthrightness, you know, and honesty. And I think every leader needs people like that, you know. It's like they are not going to come and tell you, oh, you know, you are doing well when you are not. If they say you are doing well, you must be able to believe them. So Kofi Ganaba told me that and June Milne, who...
Nkrumah's biographer?
Yes. And apparently she said something very similar, I think, to your brother. So she said that Kwame Nkrumah was so powerful, he was able to unite Russia and America against him. He was able to unite Christians and Muslims against him. Because Nkrumah said we must remove religion from, in a secular nation, we must remove religion from education. It should be, everybody should teach their children religion at home, but the school in a secular nation. So Nkrumah wanted to remove religion from education. So that united the Christians and Muslims against him. Nkrumah said we face neither east nor west, we face forward. That united America. So said Nkrumah was so powerful that the greatest enemies, Russia and America, he united them. The greatest enemies, Christians and Muslims, you are going to hell, you are going to hell. Today, dear Charlie, this Nkrumah Day, we have to work against him. Otherwise, Obe say, your business in So the power of Nkrumah is that he could unite enemies. They are united in their singular goal that we must get rid of this man. You know, Lumumba the same, but Nkrumah to a much greater extent, because Nkrumah really faced a giant battle against, you know, the religious institutions who saw him as a threat. So, and also the educational establishment, because, you know, till today, every educational establishment is very clear about their religious origin. Was it Makaranta, or is it Catholic, or is it Methodist, or is it Presby? You know, Pentecost. Maybe I like the Pentecost, at least they dance. And I like EP Church.
They have great music.
I've recorded so many EP Church albums.
You know what loves me? What I love about their music? One of my uncles died long ago. We went to the church, and when they are dancing, they are walking for collection. So it's like maracas.
It's like maracas.
Yeah, and they are walking, and it's just great music. Great music. Talking of music, Nice segue. Why did you form Pidgin Music, and why Pidgin Music?
Well, actually, when I first formed a record label, it was called Sakura Music. Because at that time, I always used to shave my head, and it was almost like a trademark.
Yeah, so you're right. You were bald for a long time.
For a long time, I was always doing Sakura.
Why?
Because at that time, shaving your head was a symbol of resistance, both in Ghana and even in the world.
What were you resisting? Or who were you resisting?
Well, it's I'm resisting normality, for want of a better. So I've always understood that sure, I belong in the center of society, but I'm also welcome on the periphery of society. And the center of society, all change comes from the periphery. So every society needs vectors that bring the ideas from the periphery of society into the mainstream.
Is it also partly because you are biracial?
Yes.
You are Ghanaian and you are German?
Well, that makes me an outsider.
Yeah.
But
did you feel like an outsider?
I'm still an outsider. Everywhere. There's nowhere. The two countries do I feel I am not an outsider until I speak. America and Egypt.
Tell me
Egypt, why. Everybody is my color.
Yes.
Right? My hair, my brother, or it's like, so Egyptians, dear, it's obvious, but we don't talk about it, that Arabs are half caste who have married themselves. Because you can see the dominant traits. The Greek nose, African lips, African hair, right? But there are characteristics, European eyes. So you can see a dark-skinned Egyptian who have green eyes, or you understand what I mean.
So when you land a carrier and if you don't talk, people just assume that you are one of
Egyptian,
them,
yes.
Until you open your mouth.
Yes.
And then they say what?
They say, oh, I should stop pretending to be American.
Oh.
Because they don't see, if I speak, if Omuti Brofa, they know America.
So stop being American.
I should stop pretending to be American, but they know I'm an Egyptian just like them, so I should speak Arabic and stop.
And then when you go to America, what happens? You walk around, nobody
No, America, for the most part, and as I have pointed out in America quite a few times, unless you are in Mississippi or South Carolina,
like
or
deep South.
Deep South, yes. The average American is much lighter than me.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you are lighter than me, who is half black and half white, even though you are fighting so hard that you are black, Of course, politically you are black. Ideologically you are black. So am I. Right? But we have to accept the reality that as strongly as we proclaim to be politically or spiritually or socially black, more than 50% of our blood or DNA might be white, for want of a better word, sure. Right? So when I tell Americans that, in fact, in America, if I tell them, sure, I'm black, but I'm half black, half white, they don't believe it. Because somebody who is half black, half white in America is totally not my color at all. I'm first generation. Genuine Africa.
And in Ghana, how do people deal with you?
Well, I mean, I speak P very well. So if I'm speaking to somebody, and I speak fragments of Frafra, fragments of Hausa, fragments of Ghana, fragments of Ewe. So wherever I am, I can say enough words that you will know that I'm not a complete stranger. At least. I may have come, but I didn't come here today. No. Yes, because I know some words. Yeah. Right. So,
have you ever felt really bad?
That was
by how somebody treated you when you were younger and everything else? Like they said something that was really hurtful to you.
Oh no! Even though, you see, in the African context, you may be othered, right? But you are not excluded. You see, African othering, and it's bad to generalize, right? But you can generalize a little bit. That here in Ghana, if people recognize you as being an outsider, they don't reject you. they don't try and beat you. If anything, they are very curious because they believe you are coming from a different environment. You have experiences that they don't have. So garnering knowledge from you is useful for them.
Yeah.
So this is actually a very advanced way of thinking. The European way is, if I see an outsider, I want to drive them away.
So in Germany, when you step there, if you don't open your mouth, who do they think you are?
Oh, in Germany, I don't have to open my mouth. I'm not their color, so I'm an outsider.
But you are,
to a great extent in Ghana, the same.
But you are Panjji Mark, so you're German.
But if the old lady sees me walking on the other side of the street, she hasn't asked me my name. She doesn't care. All she can see is, who is this black boy polluting the street? I mean, I have to admit that in a country like Germany, if you are below a certain age, if you are a black boy below the age of 5, 6, 7, generally you receive a very warm welcome. However, the moment you achieve adult height, adult build, God forbid you bore small, then you become a threat to the entire society. So, but you are always an outsider. But I would say many countries in Europe, and less so in America, but many countries in Europe can treat Africans who they don't consider to be threats in quite a friendly way. Now, once you're a big black man like me, you understand what I mean. Every white man sees me, they think, hey, Charlie, this man will beat me, if you understand what I mean. And so therefore you represent a threat.
Here, do you get the Oboni, Yevu, Blofonyo? Did you get those? What kind of nicknames did you have when you were growing up here?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you know the meaning of all those words, that they were warnings our ancestors were giving us, right? Blafonyo is like, they have told you the person is Blafonyo, but you didn't listen. Then whatever happens is your fault. Or they have told you that the person is abrofo, aborini. Aborini is how you say it in Equiapimchi.
Yeah.
So
and Yevu, Ayevu, cunning
yes,
dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't have a single complimentary name for Europeans in West Africa that I know of.
Did your mother suffer because she married a black man?
Well, in Germany, of course, she would. Did. Yes, but Ghana.
Did they cut her off?
Her father. Her mother was always my mother's mother. I will say, was a lot more sophisticated than my mother's father.
She took you to go and watch Fela?
Yes,
at Apollo.
yes. So she was, just because she was an artist, she was a woman who liked music and creativity and so on. You see, the moment your mind expands, you stop seeing the things which don't matter.
How about your maternal grandfather?
My maternal grandfather was the stubborn one, but...
He didn't like the fact that his daughter married a black man?
Well, somebody who is taking his daughter far away. He didn't like the idea that his daughter is going. If my grandfather didn't like my grandfather wanted my mother to stay in Germany and run his business when he retired.
What business was he doing?
He had a big sales business.
Okay.
And my mother didn't want to do that.
So she became a nurse?
Yeah, so that was her escape, because, you can become a nurse without parental support, because, you understand? So my grandfather wasn't going to... If you, my daughter, if you are not going to go and study what I want you to study, to come and take over my business or run my business for me, so I'll go to early retirement then. So my mother left Germany, went to England, became a student nurse, and then went through that process. So that was her way of cutting away from her father.
Yeah. So your grandparents, did your grandfather like you?
Oh, yes. I mean, you see, every grandfather, you have no experience of grandchildren until your grandchildren come.
Are you a grandpa now?
Not yet. No. I have time. So, my grandfather used to think that my brother and I especially were a little bit difficult, until my mother's younger brother, who married an American woman.
Black?
White.
White, okay.
So, until he met his white grandchildren, and then he saw that...
They stubborn pass.
Very stubborn. And then, so by the time, and of course, I love my cousins, but it's not that they were stubborn. It's just they are normal children.
Yeah.
You see, we as Africans, we know that you can't be too by heart anyhow.
No,
yes,
they will bring you
yes, you've got to. So, but as we got to some point, my grandfather always used to say that, and I mean, later then my grandfather had more grandchildren. But what he realized is that, look, he said in terms of always being happy, he said that we, his African grandchildren, we were always happy and we were always like laughing and cracking jokes. So he said as soon as he put us in the car, right, he knows he will hear laughter until he gets to where he's going. And my grandfather, he liked traveling with us. So my grandfather's idea of a holiday is you come here, you park the car here, then you walk to Kaswa, you spend the night there. The next day you walk to Winneba. Then from Winneba, you walk along the beach. You stop when you get to Kokrobite. Then you walk until you get to Jamestown. When you get to Jamestown, maybe you take a train or a bus to come and pick up the car from where you left it.
Time.
So that was his
outdoors
idea.
Kind of.
Yeah, outdoors. You are just of course, you don't do it through the town, but you do it through the forest or
so
the
nature.
reserve. Nature, yes.
Nature.
So, but a day you are walking 10, 15, 20, 25 kilometers, any distance.
Wow.
So my brother and I, we were fit and we were strong. So we could keep up with him.
Yes.
I mean, he was in Italy. My grandfather, dear, he used to boast when my grandfather was 75. He said, look at my body. There's not 1 ounce of fat on my entire body. Because he rode a bicycle. He had a Benz. He could drive his car if he's traveling far. Like we are going far, we are going on holiday. That's when he'll park his car. Other than that, everywhere he goes on his bicycle. So he was very, very fit and healthy. And it's true. His whole body, pure muscle. Just lean, hard German man, old man. So it's like for us to keep up with him when he was in his 60s.
You have to be fit.
Hey, Charlie, we have to be fit. And as for my American cousins, Charlie, give up. Then if they walk like 2 kilometers, they'll tell
obesity thing in America.
It wasn't obesity. It's just that, Charlie.
No lack of movement.
Yeah, lack of movement. We in Ghana, we used to walk everywhere, right?
Yeah.
When we were kids, I feel sorry for the children today. It's like my son is 11, right? When I was 11, I can get up from my house and go across town. Like I can go from here to Latebi Okoshi. I can go from here to Teshi.
To Teshi.
Yeah.
Just walk.
Either walk or bicycle.
Kadi.
Either walk or bicycle. And if you're walking, like I know I'm going to Teshi, I'll just follow the railway line.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I get to and I'll cut across somewhere. But me usually by bicycle. Today, will I trust my 11-year-old son to safely ride his bicycle to his friend's house? Yeah. When I was 11, I can tell my parents, Charlie, I'm going to visit my friend. Which friend? I mentioned the name. And I'll go. During holidays, if I wake up from the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, once I've done my chores, fed the rabbits, fed the goats, fed the sheep, because Charlie, we grew up in Operation Feed Yourself. So between my brother and I, we had maybe an average of about 50 rabbits.
50 rabbits?
50 rabbits. When you have 50 rabbits, you can eat 2 rabbits every week. Every week you can kill 2 rabbits. And we were even selling some.
And they are just
multiplying. Once you reach 50, let's say at home, and rabbit is beautiful meat, right? Lean, very healthy. They are vegetarian, so it's not a... So during Achampong's time, we had sheep and goats in the house.
Where we are here?
No.
Okay.
This is in Bema Camp.
Bema Camp, okay.
I would say from 1974 all the way into the 80s. In my house, we very, very rarely bought meat. We never bought pawpaws. We didn't buy plantain, cocoyam, kontomire. All those things just grew in the house. Still, there's kontomire at the back there. The gardener killed all of it recently. I have to replant it. But you grow kontomire behind your house, Charlie. Look, pawpaws here. See, do you think I'm going to buy pawpaw? No, they are there, right? So Operation Feed Yourself, dear. It's God. You just put some seeds in the ground.
It's growing, man.
It will grow. It will give you pawpaws. Pawpaw trees grow in less than a year. So why don't we have small pawpaw trees everywhere there is space? Everybody likes pawpaws, So my brother and I had chores. We fed the rabbits. We had to go and pluck juice and dandelion, whatever was in season at the time. And between my brother and I feeding 50 rabbits, we provided the household with... And we were doing this from the age of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way through my teens.
So you're a genuine rabbit farmer?
Yeah, I'm a genuine rabbit farmer, yes. And till now, Charlie, the rabbits, you just have to... The same way you do husie or grass cutter. Okay. Just smoke it small.
You're done.
Aye. Lean, very lean, high quality meat, yes.
Back to pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
Pigeon music.
Why did I choose pigeon?
Yes.
Well,
you had a Sakura hair?
Yes.
The label was first called Sakura Music.
First called Sakura.
Yes.
Yes. And by the early 90s, right? We, in an attempt to, well, first, let me be clear about what I have always tried to do. So what I was trying to do was, I was trying to make hip hop, or I was trying to bring our high life, our traditional music, into the hip hop production ethic, right? Me, it had nothing to do with language for me. It's
Just domesticate the hip hop. Was that
yes,
it?
bring
Make it Ghanaian.
yes, bring high life into it.
Okay.
It's like, because hip hop was primarily based on a sample of something.
Yes.
So hip hop was based on soul, on funk. There were a few classical interpolations. So it's like, so why don't, so for me, hip life, hence the name, is hip hop based on high life music. So my goal has always, as a musician, has been, how do we add value to the Ghanaian culture or tradition of high life? Of course, high life is a West African tradition, but I think Ghana has a stronger claim to it than most. So that's always been my goal, is because I believe by adding value to my culture, my heritage, my tradition, I add value to myself, and I add value to all the artists who come after me.
Were you into that whole who founded hip life argument? Does that interest you?
Well, it is, for me, the argument is very uninteresting, because music genres are not created by singers. They are created by producers. Right? And, okay, if hip life is about rapping in Twi over hip hop beats, then I'm not interested in hip life. I don't care who created it. If hip life is about creating hip hop with a high life rhythm, king, 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 or an asopo rhythm, or a jama rhythm, yes,
You are interested.
then I'm interested. And then it is me. Nobody can challenge me for that, because I've been doing it since the early 90s.
Who was your first person that you put out?
The first
act?
BB Menson and Talking Drums on the Back Home Again soundtrack.
Okay.
So Back Home Again is a film which came out in 1994. By 1995, I had even left Ghana. So by the time people became aware of what hip life was, or by the time people became interested in what hip life was, I was in America. And I didn't come back to Ghana until 99.
What were you doing in America, just on the side?
Well, in America, I run two very, very successful nightclubs.
What were the names of the clubs?
Glam Slam.
Glam Slam.
Glam Slam.
Okay.
That night was called Jamaica Funk.
Jamaica.
So every Thursday in Los Angeles, right downtown, in a club which belonged to a Jewish man, but he had Prince as kind. You know, Los Angeles is all about fame and celebrity and connection. So he kind of had Prince as a partner or a co-owner, but it's because that club had the best sound system, one of the best sound systems I've ever heard in my life.
So Glam Slam.
Yes, so I wanted to take hip hop and dancehall into that space.
Okay.
Because hip hop and dancehall too, you need a good sound system.
Okay. So that was, you said two clubs, Glam Slam and which one?
And then Amnesia in Miami.
Make you forget your problems, eh?
Amnesia too was a Thursday night. But Amnesia was an open air. You see, in a place like South Beach, they also have open air clubs.
Miami.
Yeah, this is Miami, South Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
So that, like, Amnesia is, I can only describe it. It was a little bit similar to like how Orion Cinema used to be in the olden days, or maybe even Rex. Right? It was a nightclub, but it was like that, open air. You know what I mean? A few different levels. So I mean, one of the things. Yes, Yes, okay, we are doing something, okay, so you are not allowed to shout, okay? Okay, thank you, good boy. He said, am I a grandfather yet? Okay, this is adopted grandson, dude. I have, yeah. I'm in training. But actually, you see, by the time I had children, I was more like a grandfather than like a father, for which I'm very, very grateful. You know, I think children need patience that, Charlie, most men I know, including myself, don't have the patience that children need when they are in their 20s or their 30s. Even their 40s is when, speaking for myself personally, and most of the men I grew up with, the kind of patience it takes to raise children, I saw it in my friends in their 40s, right? Some had children in their 20s and were forced to learn some of that patience that children need. But it was reluctantly, maybe with some resentment. But you look at Ghanaian culture, right? The culture was that a man in his late 30s or 40s will marry a woman who is now ready to have children, 18, 20, 22, whatever. And we say, oh, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. But the reality is, most men are not really ready for children at the age that women are ready for children, right? We haven't developed enough, right? That's my own experience. So, you know, sure, it's a wonderful idea for us to be married to our own age mates, right? So that we grow up together. But in that case, then the women should understand that, unfortunately for you, this man here is not going to be able to do for you what a 40 or 45-year-old man will do, because he simply has not learned that level of patience yet. You get frustrated and annoyed with him, you fight with him. If you're not ready for something, you're not ready for it. So me, I'm glad I had children in my mid-40s. By then, I had learned patience, you know. I had kind of come to understand that your job is not to shape your children, but your job is simply to help your children navigate through life, because they are on their own path. You can't set a path for them.
What's it like being a father?
Oh, it's, for me, it's one of the most humbling and I'll say, for me, being a father is my greatest achievement, even though I don't think that I've done it that well, but I still think that, Charlie, it's easy to bond. You say money for cocoa, no hard. But no, they say to bond no hard, but money for be the money for cocoa, yes. And so I think, yes, being a father is humbling, because you will never be able to do everything that you want to do for your children. So you have to accept failure and defeat at numerous stages along the way. So if I disappoint myself, I care. I don't want to disappoint myself, but if I disappoint my children, it's a different dimension. Yeah, I can't forgive myself. So I think, you know, being a father is humbling.
You sometimes get scared for your children?
Well, I have tried to teach my children as much as I know, and I have tried to teach them to question everything they see and everything they hear. So I think regardless of what happens, they are better prepared to make decisions based on their instincts and how they feel, rather than based on propaganda. Even though, of course, I mean, peer pressure is bigger than it's ever been because of social media, right? So I think it's more important than ever that we teach our children to think independently and be aware of what they feel. You see, if you don't know how you yourself feel, you will just do what everybody is doing. But if you're aware of how you feel, okay, everybody is playing tennis, but okay, I don't like tennis, so let me do gardening instead, right? If you don't know how you feel, you don't know that you enjoy gardening, you will play tennis with everybody else. So it's important to know, you know, how do I respond to this, and not be afraid to do things differently from the people around you, because you really don't want to be good at being someone else. You just want to be yourself. So I think my children are prepared for the future as much as I can prepare them, because I've always been honest with them. And I think understanding the importance of honesty and how it builds trust is an important thing for children to learn, because we are not in a society that teaches them that by default.
So you learn it at home.
Yes.
Back to Yankee, open air,
Open air.
amnesia. So you spent some time there for like 4 years.
Oh, no. In total, yeah, a bit more than 2 years.
And then you came back to Ghana
Yes.
to run Pigeon?
Yes. So I came back, when I came back in 99, I had already decided that I wasn't going to leave Africa for 10 years. So you see, between 92, 93 and 99, I wanted to come back to Ghana, but I'd come back maybe for a few months, then there's a job opportunity here, and then I'll go and do that job, and then I continue, and then I get stuck. Then when I think, okay, I've saved up small money, and then I want to come back, then I'll come back. And then also 94, when I came back, we're working on Back Home Again, you know, and so anything, small susu that I had made, you know, got also consumed into that. So, but already by 92, 93, 94, I realized I wanted to come back and work in Ghana creatively. And the reason was simple. When I was writing for Desmond's, I was very aware of the fact that I am the only black voice on television. So I can't speak for myself, right? I represent the voice of 1 million people who have no voice, right? And I don't want to be that. That means I always have to be on the best of my best behavior. And ultimately, the problem with something like The Cosby Show or Fresh Prince or Desmond's is that it is the only opportunity you have to fight an overwhelmingly negative media image of black people, and therefore you've got to make a conscious effort to project the other.
Overcompensating.
Yes. And as for media, I don't believe that you can censor art, or you can create art without exploring every emotion that you have to
push the boundaries.
Yes. Yeah. So I didn't want to work in an environment where I was forced to represent people who are not like me. Media, I'm a fucking guy. So I want to represent myself and do things my way. So I understand that I don't belong to, you know,
British society.
What society?
British society.
Yeah, I don't belong to British society. I don't belong to Ghanaian high society either, right? So sure, I am welcome there, right? But I am not, it's like if you talk about Ghanaian gentlemen,
you know the inside.
I know the inside. And I don't want to be inside.
You
Actually, I have one Armani suit. It's a but it's that I've thrown all my suits
Panji,
away.
if you must have one suit,
one gray Armani suit.
Nice,
yes.
with a tie?
Yeah. I have a few. I don't know where they are, but if I'm lucky, I stuff the tie into the pocket of that suit. But
bow tie, you get bow tie.
No, bow tie they are not get. Bow tie, if I need a bow tie, I'll rent it.
So you want to come and represent your own people?
Yes, okay. And also create art from a point of freedom.
Tell me why you use the name Pigeon.
Well, Pigeon is, the reason why I use the word pigeon is because it's not because of the language alone, but it's because of the philosophy behind the language. So what language do they speak? Pidgin. Yeah. Some people say it's Pidgin English, right? Yeah. Pidgin. But it's Pidgin. It contains Twi, Hausa, Yoruba, everything. Portuguese, Brazilian, German, right? So it's we are adding new things which are relevant to us to Pidgin every day. And that is how I want to live my life.
But you spelled it P-I-D-G-E-N.
Yes.
Not the P-I-D-G-I-N.
Yes, because that P-I-D-G-I-N is the English people's own.
This one, the fucking boy is own, right?
Yes. So this is our own, just to avoid. But yes, it refers to the same thing. And also, it's not so much about the language, but it's about the approach. Okay. So I want to make music. In my lifetime, I've been inspired by Nyomkro. I've been inspired by Wulome. I've been inspired by Kofi Ganaba. I've been inspired by Osibisa. I've been inspired by Bob Marley. I've been inspired by Cool G Rap. I've been inspired by Lost Boys. I've been inspired by Mobb Deep, right? So, if I express myself, the only way I can really express myself is elements from all these things. Brazilian music will enter me as I express myself. So by removing all the limitations on yourself, what kind of you, and also I came up with Pidgin music because, so I chose the name Pidgin music in 97 or 98. By 97 or 98, people had started claiming to be the originators of hip life. So, and this is something I'd been doing for 7-8 years by then. So I was like, okay, in fact, what hip life is right now is not something that I'm interested in. Because if you remember hip life in 96, 97, 98, they were taking American songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool and the Gang.
Cool and the Gang.
Grace Jones. So
Yes. Yeah. Da 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 da. That's Bobby Brown, right? Yeah. So it's what hip life was doing was something that I wanted no part of whatsoever, because my entire interest in hip life is to make the source of the song high life. But now we are taking Bobby Brown's song and translating it into Twi and saying it is hip life. No. So me there, I removed myself from hip life cry and I said, okay, look, even hip life is too small for me, right? Because by the time I came back from Miami, I'd been producing like dance music, house music, which is where Toto Mechanic comes from. I know Ghanaians to be like dancing.
Toto Mechanic.
Yeah, so that one there is asopo. It's proper house asopo. So I was thinking, I know I'm going to be producing music like this, so let me completely dissociate myself from hip life, right? So the reason why I wasn't interested in hip life is I felt, Charlie, hip life is too small to contain me. But if I say Pidgin music, everything I do fits under the Pidgin music banner.
How did you find Ayusoba? Give me the story of how you guys connected.
Well, somewhere in 1999, TT of Media Touch brought a group of traditional musicians to my studio. His TT called me like 6:30 on a Sunday morning. And that day I was supposed to do something with my wife. And he said, Charlie, this thing is an emergency. I need to come and record these things because he's recording some jingles which have to go around the country as part of the election campaign. So, Charlie, I begged my wife, I pulled myself out of that appointment we had that Sunday. Charlie, I went to the studio, finished the job. Where is the money? No money. Oh! I was never paid for that job. Politics is always like that. If you don't collect the money up front, afterwards nothing will come.
Job you guys were working
on? It was some jingles that he was recording.
Which party, man?
I can't even remember. Can you imagine? I don't remember which party it was. But TT used to work with Nagboshi, so it must have been... Yeah, it was MPP. Yeah, it was for Kufuor's...
Did they owe you?
When Kufuor came in. Oh, no. So, but before TT got me out of bed that morning, I think we had done something before, maybe where there was someone saying, no, Charlie, I'll pay this one. But come on, this one, she Sandeep, I'm calling you. I said, okay. So maybe I should have been smart and collected the money before this. Yes. But I got there, Charlie, I just wanted to work fast, get everything done. It took us the whole day though. But Ayusoba was one of the musicians. So some months later, Prime Eye and BB Menson, who felt that, okay, now that, so BB Menson and Prime Eye brought Terry Bonchaka and King Ayusoba to my studio one day and said, oh, Terry Bonchaka was doing something interesting, so would I be interested in working with him? And I said, oh, to me, everything that Terry Bonchaka was saying was rubbish. I was like, yeah, but I like Ayusoba. I'll work with Ayusoba. And you see, this created a lot of conflict because Terry had come with Isoba to the studio, and I was supposed to produce Terry, but I felt that, you know, it's like, you know, the words is a very important part of music.
Yes, yeah.
Either you must say something, and whatever you say and the way in which you say it, in order to have a sustained career, it must reinforce people's faith and belief in themselves, right? So I just felt that what Terry was doing, yes, it was good. And also, a while before that, I had seen Terry Bonchaka performing once, and he was singing some song. Sa ton ton gare gare and he sang a song in Frafra. So after the show, I spoke to, I said Lawani, and I expected him to reply in Frafra. And I saw he doesn't understand one word of Frafra. And I said, but you are singing a Frafra song. He said, oh, me then saw my guy. But Terry made the whole crowd sing that song. So I was thinking, if you can sing a song in a language you don't understand and make the whole crowd sing along, whoever wrote this song is good. Yeah, let's go for the source. Yeah. So that's how I got interested in Isoba.
Okay.
And then, but because he came to me with Terry, and I said, I'm not interested in producing Terry. It's like, I'll record a couple of songs for you if you want, but this is not what I'm interested in putting my energy into. Isoba is what I'm interested in putting my energy into. So, but there was a barrier there, which was broken by Terry's death.
Yeah.
So when Terry died, Isoba said, okay, he's leaving Accra, and he went and told Prime Eye and BB Menson again that, look, he wants to leave Accra and go back to the north and go back to, more of his traditional music career. So they said, okay, long time ago, Panji said he wanted to record with you, so let's go back, and so then that's how the opportunity came.
Is it I Want to See You?
I Want to See My Father is it's not the first song we recorded, but it's that album.
That's his biggest song.
Yes.
What was it like recording that song?
Well, you see, by then I had developed a technique. You see, in the early 90s, when I was working with Talking Drums, I also had, in those days, programming was still very primitive. So my recordings with Talking Drum were live recordings. So I had a drummer, I'll remember his name, but he was a brilliant drummer. He came from Sierra Leone. Then I had, not Injole, a percussionist. Mm-hmm. So he would play congas and gome. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to them, I had Captain Yaba playing the kologo. So the kologo was really giving me like the rhythm. So that was the band, gome, kologo, and jazz drums. So, but during that time, of course, I'd experimented a lot with recording the kologo. And then also I recorded, so Atongo Zimba's first album, I recorded maybe not all the songs, but maybe about 7 or 8 out of those songs. And before he went to Britain to get them done again. So, I'd spent a lot of time with the kologo, and to be honest, I felt anytime I hear the blues and anytime I hear kologo music, the connection between them is so strong.
Kologo is like the string instrument.
Yes, the two string. Yes, the two strings. Yes, it's very rhythmic and melodic very melodic and pentatonic. Yeah. So I always thought, one of my missions in life is to go back to the source of the blues and bring it straight from there into the modern days, bypassing slavery, and bypassing all the things in between that turn the kologo into soul or rhythm and blues. What if we bring the kologo straight into today's contemporary music?
Which is what you did with that
Which
song.
is what I did, yes.
Were you surprised that it was such a big success?
No, I always knew it was a great song. The interesting thing on that album is because I was running a studio, I was producing lots of other artists. So on King Isoba's first album, he had a feature from Samini, he had a feature from Sydney, he had a feature from Kontihine, he had a feature from Kwabna, he had a feature from Kwekuti. So he had lots of songs featuring other artists.
That was a good strategy.
And he wanted to promote one of those songs with a big artist. But I actually, you see, the way I see marketing is, if I spend $10,000 on Kafui Dey featuring Bob Marley, right? Bob Marley has chopped $5,000 of my $10,000, and I want my entire $10,000 to go into you. So with I Want to See You, My Father, and there were only 2 songs on Isoba's album, which was just kologo and vocals. The other songs produced instrument and music instrumentation. But I wanted to spend all of my money promoting King Isoba his instrument and his identity. So if there's a beat in the background, I'm diluting that. If I'm featuring an artist, I'm diluting that. But it was a real struggle to convince him that this is the song I'm going to put all that. This is the song I'm going to promote.
You didn't really believe that it would be good?
No. We fought. We fought.
Is it a true story? I want to see you, my father.
Well, it's not a true story about Isoba. No, it's not him. It's not his story.
Yes.
But it is a true. It's a true story.
What happens?
Yes, it's a true story. Yes.
Yeah.
And also with that song, you see, we had changed the song. So the song used to be, I want to see you, my father, in court. I want to see you, my father, in court. Yeah. So that was what the song was. And I decided that if we remove the in court, right, then the song would get much further, because the message of the song is completely unchanged. So I want to see you, my father. But now you are opening it up, and you are creating space for some kind of, let's say, you are opening the door for peace.
Yeah.
Right? So I wanted the song to, as depressing and sad as that story or that song is, it's still pop music.
Yeah.
Right?
But for me, I don't see it even as depressing. It's kind of...
It's a sad story. It's blues. It's blues.
Yes, I want to see my father. Yesterday I came with you. Come and see me tomorrow for money. I want this money for this. It's quite a sad thing, but I'm sure people can
every day and every night I suffer money matter.
Yes.
Right? So the way you do is not fine.
Not fine.
Yeah. So I mean, you are you are still addressing an issue.
Yes.
But by just saying, I want to see you, my father, you are opening the door.
Exactly.
I want to see my father in court. In our culture, this matter, if me and my father have a problem, we don't solve it in court. We go to see my uncle.
Exactly so.
Yeah, we're going to see my father's brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even on the musical side, it gives you a chance to listen to the Kologo, because I want to
see in court, there was no gap. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the music must breathe also. I also believe a lot in music breathing. So
good decision for you not... Did he originally wanted to have a feature? Did he want to have...
Not that particular song. No, but I'm saying on an album of 9 songs, he had 6 major artists featured. So
and I know a lot of musicians, up and coming underground musicians, are always looking for a feature.
Yeah.
But with your philosophy, I think you want the music to shine.
Well,
and you want the musician to shine.
A feature is good, but if I'm your producer, and you think I'm going to spend my budget of 10,000 to go and promote somebody else, no, no. So that song that I'm going to promote, I want it to be a song that, if possible, you are the only person on the song.
Indeed.
Yes. Indeed. So even that drummer cry, I don't want him to suck some of my money. I want all to go into you.
Yeah.
So it's really, it comes down to that.
And you bet on something which has succeeded.
Well, I mean, it was...
It's a big song.
Yes, and people thought I had made a dangerous or a risky decision. I remember at some point after, let's say, 3-4 months of promotion, you know, like many things in my life, someone say, oh, Charlie, you are wasting the money, so stop and let's, you know, I'm advising you not to be wasting your money. It's like in the very early days, like in 92, 93, 94, I used to book KK Dua's studio.
Yes.
It's like, and I was in the studio, yes, Case Frequency, like almost every single day. I was at least 3-4 days a week, Charlie, trying to do something. But you're experimenting, so it's going to take you a while to get there. I remember when KK told me, he said, Charlie, Panji, I love collecting your money. It's like in the last maybe 6 months or 9 months, if I calculate how much money you've given me, it's like maybe whatever, 30 million or 40 million in those days. But as your friend too, I just want to advise you that, Charlie, this rap music there, it will never work in Ghana. Right? So this is the studio that I'm renting to produce.
They are now feeling sorry for you.
They are feeling sorry for me, that they think I'm spending all this money and this music that we are making, there is no hope, right? So there are many times in my life where, and in the case of KK, right, you are chopping my money and yet you're advising me. I respect that. That is the strongest message.
Yeah.
But in spite of that,
still push through.
Yes. And I mean, you see, Ghanaians, we don't understand how influential we are. Yes, there is one area that the Nigerians beat us to it. So see, I've been called pidgin music since 96, 97. As soon as I thought hip life was boring, Charlie, I don't want to be Sakura music, I want to be pidgin music. Pidgin music, dear. Hip life, you are just a small part of my portfolio. But it is NFL. We're confident about using pidgin and Ga and, street slang. But
What did the NFL stand for?
initially, it stood for Niggas
Niggas
for
for
Life.
Life.
Yes.
Yes.
Then it became Native Funk Lords.
Exactly.
Yes. But at one point,
It was Niggas
yes,
for Life.
yes.
When
Because
they were very Yankee.
yes. And for me, the hip life revolution is let's separate hip hop from America, right? Everybody in America will tell you that hip hop is an African tradition which has, like a phoenix, risen from the crime-ridden ghettos of the inner city, right? But it is an African tradition. Everything in hip hop is an African. The dancing in the circle, the fact that you've broken down the music to just drums and the voice. So, and the drums are loud. When I was growing up, there was no loud drums in music, except some of the Memphis, Nashville, the South records. Some of them had some boom, boom, ka. But apart from that, you listen to High Life record, you can hear the conga maybe, but you can't hear the drummer, you can't hear the kick.
Very soft.
Yes, so there was no drums in any music, not just, okay, reggae came and changed it, of course. But we must assert our influence on hip hop, because we are of hip hop. We are the source of hip hop. So to express ourselves through hip hop, we can separate it from America. It's like the blues. The same thing I'm doing with Isoba. The blues existed in the Sahel before it existed in America. Yes. So if I want to record a blues album with America, sure, I like John Lee Hooker and I like B.B. King and I like, there's another king who is even the Velvet Bulldozer, something King. He's another.
Benny King.
Not Benny King. He's also a blues guitarist. So I love the blues, but I don't need the blues to produce Isoba's music. No. And that's how I felt about hip life.
You know what you're saying is just intrigues me, because when I was in Kumasi in 97 and I met like Lord Kenya and Achame, especially Achame, I said, guys, you know what? We need to hear some of this Nyum Crow in your music. Nyum Crow, I said two things, Nyum Crow and then Pidgin. Try and put Pidgin in your rap. So it's kind of the same things that you're talking about, that bring all this traditional stuff.
And there is no genius in it. It's obvious. Yeah. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes I say something 20 years of when it is going to happen, and it doesn't mean I'm not clever about it. It's inevitable.
It's not Prophet Panji?
No, it's inevitable. There's no other way it can go, right? How can we make music that is not about us?
It's not going to work.
Yes, it's not going to work. So whatever we do, we can only create from within, right? So
you want to hear music which has like maybe Agbaja rhythms and people are rapping over it. Nyum Crow, Wolome,
ask JQ how happy I was, like in the late 99 when the Jama, yes. So it's like now our hip life is Jama, yes. You hear this music. Where is this music from? They say, oh, it sounds like Ghana. It's Ghana. Yes. But from what Talking Drums did in 93, 94, 95, let's say from 95 to 99, JQ, that is kind of 99, 2000, 2001, right? So that period in between is like, all the music is like we were now cheap imitations of America or cheap imitations of Jamaica. Which is why I said I didn't want to be a part of it.
Is it still happening? The imitations of Jamaica and America still happening?
Well, you see, there are Jamaican artists who've been to Ghana, spent a lot of time in Ghana. They can even speak a little bit of Pidgin. Will they put it on their records? No. They might put one word, but they are not going to fake another language, or they are not going to use somebody else's language to make their own music. And no Ghanaian can convince me that Patois is my language. No, Pidgin is our equivalent of Patois.
So why don't we have more songs in Pidgin?
The Nigerians have done it. Do you sometimes I get people calling me, oh, I want an African reggae artist for a food festival in Wyoming, or for a festival in Colombia or in Brazil. Do you know who they always want? Pato Ranking. Because Pato Ranking doesn't sound Jamaican.
He doesn't sing in Pato.
No.
He sings Nigerian pidgin.
Yes. So there are going to be Jamaican artists on the bill.
Of course.
If they want some reggae from Africa, they don't want a Ghanaian who sounds like Bob Marley.
No.
No. They don't want a Ghanaian who sounds like Vibes Cartel. They don't want a Ghanaian who sounds like Beanie Man. They don't want a Ghanaian who sounds like Sean Paul.
They want a Ghanaian who sounds like a Ghanaian.
Yes. And they are not getting. So there are times I've offered Ghanaian artists, say, if you ask Pato Ranking, I've passed gigs across to them because that's who they want.
So we need to just explore our identity, be ourselves.
We have to be ourselves. Music means nothing without identity. And that is why I said with Isoba, you see, and maybe, okay, let me also tell you what I inherently believe. Music is the vector. But actually, I am not selling music. An artist is not selling music. Really, what they are selling is an identity. That is why Bob Marley is a complete artist. He represents Rastafari. He represents the downtrodden in the Jamaica. And I always tell people, Bob Marley can slang more than you.
He lived in America.
He lived in America, yes. Bob Marley is a typical me mami wa Bruchiri boy, growing up in the ghetto, living with his grandmother. His mother is always sending him stuff. Dadabi, in relative to the ghetto. So, but he understood that his identity is a part of his music. And so he was as genuine to himself as he could be whilst representing the environment that he comes from.
So Isoba is on track?
Isoba is very much on track.
Uyala?
Uyala is on track, yes.
But is it not ironic that they don't get that much airplay or recognition in Ghana?
You see, no. I will say yes and no. You see, unfortunately for our media circles, DJs or radio presenters are not so aware of how important it is to be taste makers.
Taste makers?
Yes.
They make the tastes?
Yes. We are taste makers. All of us. Once you are in this space, you are a taste maker. So you need to decide what you like and have so much confidence in what it is that you like that you believe other people will like it too. And if you don't have that confidence, then you shouldn't be choosing what songs to play on a radio station. You shouldn't be. Which is why sometimes I like the format where you've got a presenter and the DJ. And the DJ puts it upon themselves to try and find fresh music and try and, keep things fresh. But we have many people in tastemaker positions who put no effort into finding new music, championing people, right? So it's...
That's why I like John Peel, man. John Peel was great at that.
Yes.
Of the BBC.
That B.B. Menson is the same.
Yes.
Mokoho. Who made Mokoho a hit in Ghana? It's B.B. Menson. Bandana from Ghana. B.B. Menson was playing that song because that song became a hit years after it came out, right? So there was one man who played that song every single day until other DJs started liking it. So I can say B.B. Menson is a tastemaker. For whatever reason he liked that song, I don't know what he saw in Bandana. One man was playing Bandana's music. That is one hit song. To the point now, Shattawa Bandana could do shows. Because you've got a song big enough to do shows, they will call you for shows. I mean, we shouldn't go back too far. I've seen the struggles and the beginnings of many people who are huge superstars today, right? So,
It's a name one.
I'll say there is almost no artist on the hip life scene, or there is no product of hip life who I did not know before the start of their career. Because I worked with Reggie from 1990 when we were in England. But as I've said many times, Reggie had a successful career in England as an American rapper. So Reggie was not in a position to start doing African hip-hop when he's got a successful career as an American rapper. But Reggie is one of my oldest friends. The hip life that I was interested in, I wanted to do with Reggie. But Reggie couldn't give up his American career to risk maybe a career as an African which might not work. So when I came to Ghana, BB Menson is one of the first rappers I worked with, because Charlie, you see, Ewe you speak Ewe. So you understand that Ewe has vowels and consonants, which is why some of the Ewe rappers are exceptional. Edem is one of my favorite rappers, not because it's not that his flow is fly, but Ewe is a brilliant language for music. Ghana the same, Hausa the same.
The tonal
yes, those languages.
Musical,
but Ewe is very more rhythmic than most languages. So initially, when I was looking, what is the best language to rap in Ghana, apart from Pidgin, Ewe came to me first, because Ewe is more rhythmic and more melodic than Twi or Ga or Hausa even. So some of the first lyrics I recorded in Ghanaian languages is Ewe.
With them?
No, with BB Menson.
BB Menson?
Yeah.
Okay. Virus?
Virus, yeah.
I sometimes forget that he's a musician. The Virus.
So I would say BB is the first person I recorded rapping in local languages. And this was 92, 93. So, because that was the Back Home Again soundtrack. So we finished it quite a while. And Back Home Again was out in 94. Charlie, you know, film is like 1 year on the editing bench. So that gives you some idea of. So, you know, from Reggie, Samini, I saw Samini from the beginning of his career, Stone Boy, Shatawale, of course. You know, before there was the trilogy of KK Fusu, Batman, and what was the third one? Kokoveli, yes. There was that trilogy. But they, to some extent, took the concept of that trilogy from Bandana, Terry Bonchaka, and Isoba. So those three used to do gigs, because Isoba will play a rhythm, Bandana can rap, and you see, I feel Shatawale has lost one of his greatest skills through success. It's 25 years ago. Play any instrumental in the world and give Shatawale a microphone. He will entertain you for 1 hour. On freestyles, whatever he's singing, whatever he's doing. But now that he has so many hits, he doesn't have any need to do that anymore. So, you know what I mean? So one of his greatest skills, which is that Bandana was actually an amazing live performer. Just performing off the dome. Terry Bonchaka too, he could just... So the two of them, once you give them, they can't go. So yeah, you had that, they'll go. So, I mean, I remember the first old school reunion party, Joy Old School Reunion Party. It was, I remember at that time, I think DJ Black and Bolare had just finished Legon, or they were maybe even still working at radio. No, they'd left Radio Universe by then. They were both working. And I remember that old school reunion, the artists who, big superstars, they are begging to come on stage, right? Which is why, Charlie, there's nothing wrong with begging to come on stage.
Of course.
Just go, get there early, make sure you get on stage. Not that after the big, because once the big artists come there, you're not going to get that chance on stage anymore.
So warm the stage for them.
Warm the stage, yes, and practice. So, you know, it's, some people think that, oh, if they don't pay me, I won't perform. My friend, where are you going to learn the art of performance?
You won't perform if they don't pay you, because, yeah.
So, the way I looked at my career is every time I did something for which I knew I would get paid badly or not at all, but it was a skill that I wanted to learn, I would calculate the cost that it cost me to do it, and I put it that, oh, this is part of my master's, this is my university fees.
It's training.
Right? It's
education.
training, yes.
Yeah,
it's because it's something that I want to learn.
You'll learn something.
Yeah, and nobody's going to pay me to learn what I want to learn. So I've got to be willing to pay.
Yeah.
So it's just like being with Kofi Ganaba. I saw it as an apprenticeship. I wanted to understand, not his music, I can study his music. But his music is an extension of him. So if I want to understand his music, I must understand him.
Do you see the current generation having this mentality where, oh, they've seen somebody who they, like an up and coming producer will come to you and say, you know what, Panji, I want to spend one day out of your week just shadowing you to learn what you do in the studio. Do you get requests like that?
You see, people are even afraid.
To come and talk to you?
No, not to me, to anybody. You see, we have destroyed the idea of an apprenticeship being the best way to learn. You see, what I realized is that I had an uncle who was a genius of a drummer. But he had one sickness that everybody in the village where he lived knew. That he wake up early in the morning around 4:35, wear his undergreen kambu, no socks. He'll run around the village naked, then he'll come back to his house. So he does it early in the morning. Nobody knows why he does it. Apart from that, he's a normal human being. But he'll just wear his undergreen. He'll run full speed around the village, come back. And he does it before 5. So if you don't want to see it, before 5 o'clock, people haven't started sweeping. So some people have seen it, but only those who want to see it, right? So this, if you want to learn from this man, you have to understand that this running around the village naked is part of him. It doesn't mean you have to do it.
Okay.
But maybe you also have to find what it is you can do every morning that will make you feel free, right? Because without a free mind, if you are worried about what the people will think when they see you walking around naked, then if you are afraid to express, okay, I want to run around naked, why? It's not your business. Yeah, it was late at night. You can't even see me. It's too dark. You can't even see. All you see is the white and the undergreen. So, it is, you see, we must allow people who we want to do something exceptional, right, to behave exceptionally, as long as it doesn't harm anybody. But it must be harmless behavior, right? So
people allow people to have their quirks and don't judge them.
Yes.
While you are learning whatever you're learning.
Maybe you want to be a panel beater. Yeah. And then when you actually go and sit and learn with the man, you learn that, oh, his secret is that actually, this panel beater, he drinks 20 bags of water a day, right? Unless you go work with him, you are his apprentice, you won't know. So you will know that to be a successful panel beater, you are going to be here with this welding gun under the sun all day. You need to drink 20 bags of water. You understand what I mean? So I really believe apprenticeships is the fastest way to learn. We have pushed apprenticeships so far away that, has somebody come to say, Kafui, I'd like to understudy you?
It's really rare. And I've had this conversation with...
Me, I've had one or two people I've spent time with, right?
I said, I'm really surprised that more people don't come up and say, oh, you know what, I want to learn how to interview. Or I want to learn how to present. Can I shadow you? If it's not a conscious thing that I do, that I'm looking for mentees, and then I pick them up. I'm doing some coaching right now, so I'm coaching people, but I made the effort. Yeah. So it's very rare for people to come.
And this means our education system has failed. Because if you don't understand that...
no, they want certificates when you train them.
Okay. Okay, that is, you see...
It's also a reflection of our
yes. If there's no certificate at the end, that means you've learned nothing. And you see, if you don't understand that a teacher cannot teach you how to be an engineer, only an engineer can teach you how to be an engineer. A teacher cannot teach you how to be a musician. Only a musician can teach you how to be a musician. If this person was a musician, they would be doing music for a living. Maybe they know something about music, but they are not a musician. I want to be a musician. So how can a teacher teach me, I want to be a doctor? Then I go and sit in a classroom and I'm listening to a teacher teaching me how to be a doctor. I
remember I saw an ad, one of these institutions, they were doing some training for presenters or something. So I asked about the course, they gave me the thing, and I said, who is my teacher? Is the person an active presenter? Is the person working? So why are you asking me so many questions? I said, but I want to know, if I'm going to pay money for a course in presenting, I need to know whether the person who is teaching me
is a teacher or a presenter. Yes. You see, you think like I do.
And it ended right there. Yes. I never went for the course.
Because the person teaching is not a presenter.
Exactly.
So so that this teacher has learned how to teach, how to present, but themselves they don't know it, right? Because if they knew it, they would be doing it.
So if we had more of an apprentice mentality, then people would be coming up to learn from those who they see as masters.
See, if I believe that at my age, I have mastered a few arts, but I only mastered them through apprenticeships. It's not something I was taught in the classroom. It's not. It's something I taught myself. It's something I learned from the people around me, and it's something which I also actively sought knowledge from. So Mactonto was also a great friend of mine who I spent a lot of time with. He taught me a lot.
What did he teach you?
Mactonto taught me, I would say, how to embrace the future. So I remember in 1992, 93, when, so Mactonto also had a studio in his house here. And later on, when Mactonto had a full-time engineer, was a guy called Mike Swai. He used to be here, then he went to England. So when he went to England, I was working at KK Dua studio. But when his engineer came back, I came back to work full-time at Mactonto studio. So when he saw what we were doing, Mactonto straight away said, yes, you see, what you guys are doing is something new. It's something different. We are on the right track. And I remember, I think it was the Nation of Islam had some big concert at Independence Square. Yes, Mactonto was one of the performers. And he got Talking Drums to come on stage with him, right? So it's like anytime, and in Kingsbury, where I was born in England, many musicians come from Courtney Pine, these guys, they were all, Mactonto mentored all of them as kids. So the area where Mactonto lived in London, so here in Accra and in London, I lived like 200 yards from Mactonto's house. Mactonto mentored so many young black kids in my neighborhood who are, some of them are big jazz musicians today. Same here in Ghana. Many of the people, Kwame Yeboah, Rensos, all these guys were Mactonto's backing band, yes, and his mentees. So by giving young people the opportunity and allowing them to shine, right, he was able to push the envelope forward.
All right.
So I think what Mactonto taught me more than, but then also, I mean, his stories about Osibisa, don't forget, at some point, Osibisa was the biggest touring band in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did these things happen?
So you learn just by being with him.
Yes, you learn.
We can't wrap up this conversation without talking about your filmmaking side. I'm sure it's surprising to quite a few people that Panji is also a filmmaker.
Well, yes, it's, you see, I have many interests, but to some extent, I have been forced to focus on the ones which are easiest to consume. So music is the lowest common denominator. You know, they always say music is the thinnest edge of the cultural wedge. Music will open the doors and everything else will come through. But yes, Back Home Again, Back Home Again is a film, the last independently made celluloid film in Ghana.
What year was this?
Back Home Again, we finished in 94.
Okay.
I remember 95, we took it to FESPACO. We felt very proud.
In Burkina?
In Burkina, yes.
Okay.
And
have you done other film projects apart from that?
Cause of Money.
Cause of Money. Oh, with Mensa and
yes.
One Love.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and of course, there's many music videos, but there's also a lot of documentaries.
Okay.
So the documentaries often are not populist documentaries, but I am, especially 2025, 2026, I'm looking at producing more documentaries with a popular appeal.
Okay, all right.
So, and you know, you have inspired me because I see that Charlie, this program is doing so well. Honestly, I look forward to seeing when I see, because all the conversations have been interesting so far.
Thank you.
And I think that, you know, this is something we've simply failed to do. So, you know, I told your producer, Charlie, maybe leaving GBC was a blessing.
Amen.
Amen.
One tip you can give to up-and-coming producers, musicians, or Panji's tips?
Okay, as a producer, your primary job is to bring the artist's vision to life. So as a producer, it's much less about you, because if you keep doing you, all your songs will start to sound the same, or all your films will start to be the same. But if you allow the people you are working with to pull you in different directions, because you have faith in them, you keep creating new products. So the way to remain fresh and innovative is to allow yourself to be led. See yourself as a supporter, don't see yourself as a leader. In some way, yes, sure, you are a leader, but really the best work you can do, or the most you can achieve, is in supporting someone to achieve their maximum potential.
Couple of random questions before we go. What are you reading now?
Reading?
Yes.
Actually, at the moment, I am writing.
Okay.
So, I've been writing 3 very totally separate books for a long time. I suffered some data losses and I had to start from scratch. But actually, very often, starting from scratch is a beautiful experience, because you're starting, however, the memory is there and you remember the structure. So I'm writing one book in particular, which really is just about, my experiences trying to survive as a creative human being in this world.
Okay. So that's one.
That's one. Otherwise,
fiction?
Yes, one of them is fiction, but it's loosely based on
reality.
Loosely based on reality, and then the other one is an Nkrumah-based book. I can't say much more than that. But
okay.
I think it will end up in another format. So when I'm writing something, I'm not necessarily thinking it will end up as a book, because as sad as it sounds, the book is a little bit of a dying format at the moment. Yeah. And I'm not against it, because if you can watch somebody speaking, why read their words?
Exactly.
So,
all right. So something to look forward in the future.
Yeah.
Musician to look forward to blowing up in future. Exciting people that you are on your radar.
Well, me, it actually takes me a long time to like an artist, or believe that is so. What do I have to say? I think Kofi Kenata is our Ambole for 2077.
One time. I like that. And they were blessed to be on the same stage.
Yeah, they were recently blessed to be on the same stage.
Good.
But because I remember, you see, I saw Ambole when he was Kofi Kenata's age, right?
And now you can see Kofi Kenata at hopefully Ambole's age.
Yeah.
All right, great. Why do you call yourself a sophisticated savage?
Because the world believes that savagery is a bad thing, right? Or being bush is a bad thing. So it's a big insult in Ghana to say that somebody is a bushman. Mm-hmm. But I realize being a bushman is something I wish to embrace, because a bushman has certain knowledge that the educated man doesn't have. The same way the Kubolo boy, the person who can survive on the street, the person who has been going to international school since kindergarten. I don't think if I went to drop them on a Galamsey site, they would survive. Yes. So there's different kinds of education, and I think the bush education is, at least it's a very important part of me. And the savages, they always said the Africans were savages, but actually, if you really, really look at history, I would say Africans are the least savage people on the planet. If anybody can compete with them, it's the Native Americans. We were the least savage people on the whole planet, but they call us the savages, right? So So I want to embrace the savage, because I know that actually the savages were the gentlest people we have ever seen. But so to me, I believe in the truth. So those people who were called savages were actually generous and kind people. So that is me. You call me a savage, but I know exactly what I am. I'm generous and I'm kind.
And you are Panjji Anoff. Thank you so much,
you are
bro.
Kafui Dey.
Indeed.
Always good to talk with you.
Always great to vibe with you. And I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. If you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for, man?
See, I enjoy these conversations when it's other people talking with you, so why wouldn't I enjoy it myself?
Thank you so much. Keep watching. God bless.
Subscribe.
Yes. Now.
Oh, Johnny, nice one.
Was
I was thinking your lights are changing. What is going to happen? The background. I know you guys. You don't edit much, so it's okay.
No, we just
if
go.
We just go from day to night.
Yes. Valerie.
We all enjoyed the conversation.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And we've met before.
Yes,
My former colleague.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of you have left, or
no, me, man.
you?
They are all on leave. Yeah.